Welcome to West Point. Welcome to the United States Military Academy and the historic Hayes Gymnasium, home of the Black Knights, the 10-time National Collegiate Boxing Champions. Welcome to Ring City, USA, where rising stars earn their stripes in crossroad fights, with careers on the line and Saturday night main events just a win away.
They call it the warrior ethos, an ethos that extends from Grant to Eisenhower, from Patton to Austin, a fighting spirit that bonds every graduate, every member of the Long Gray Line. Tonight, for the first time ever, professional boxing comes to the United States Military Academy, where boxing is not just a competitive sport, it's a mandatory part of the curriculum, an essential part of cadet culture. We're coming to you from inside of the Hayes Gymnasium. When there isn't boxing going on, it is a location for the IOCT, the Indoor Obstacle Course training, which every cadet has to conquer before they can move on with their military career. I am Lupe Contreras alongside two-time world champion Showtime Sean Porter. Showtime, welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be back and unbelievably great to be here tonight.
What a historic location, beautiful scenery. We're right on the banks of the Hudson River. It is the historic U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Our proud men and women of the military get their training here. They get to learn absolutely everything there is when it comes to leadership, when it comes to courage, and what better way than inside of a boxing ring.
I agree 100%, and that's what I learned coming here today. I always knew that there was something different about boxers opposed to all of the other sports, but coming here, seeing the way these men and women move around, the kind of respect that they have for one another, the prestige that is on this land, I saw a lot of similarities in the sport that I'm in, and I understand why boxing is mandatory here for these cadets.
The philosophy around here is they want to test you before you ever see battle. Yeah. And what better way to get tested than inside the boxing ring?
And they tested me, and I tested them yesterday, and then they tested me some more. That warrior ethos is real.
Let's talk about that a little bit later. We got some news and notes that came out of those boxing sparring sessions. We've got the cadets joining us here, all lining the upper mezzanine of Hayes Gymnasium. They're going to watch their fellow cadets go at it on the undercard. Then we got some great up-and-coming fighters on our streaming platform, which is twitch.tv/Ring City USA. But let's talk about our main event on the main card on NBCSN. Yeah. Two ladies are going to war. Yeah. You know, let's not let that the military analogies go without being mentioned. They are going to war. We got Erica Cruz as the challenger and Melina Jurjanovic defending her world title.
Jelena Marjanovic is back, and she's back to bang it out once again. That's exactly what she did live on NBCSN in December, and she's going to do it again. This time, though, she's got Erica Cruz. Erica Cruz is a tough fighter. We'll play on that warrior word again, and she's going to come in here and show her warrior spirit and try to take that belt from Jelena tonight. I think she may be able to do it.
She didn't look intimidated at all. She said, I'm coming not just to take a tour of the Statue of Liberty of the Empire State Building. I'm coming for that world title. That is coming up later on. Right now, we're going to send it to the ring. We have the U.S. Military Academy at West Point Color Guard with the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Lieutenant General Darrell Williams, United States Military Academy Superintendent, Brigadier General Curtis Buzzard, the Commandant of Cadets, and Colonel Nicholas Gist, Director of Department of Physical Education, I want to welcome you, Ring City, USA, and NBC Sports, to the United States Military Academy. I am Cadet Devin Greenfield, and I will be your announcer for the cadet bouts this evening. Tonight's bouts will be conducted by the collegiate rules. Bouts consisting of 3 rounds, each 2 minutes in duration, and scored utilizing the 20-point must system. Boxers will be wearing 16 or 20-ounce gloves, a mouthpiece, USA boxing approved headgear, and other protective gear as needed. The judges for tonight's bouts are Mr. Artie Coughlin, Miss Sue Kligerman, Major Eric Ruff, Mr. Osahan Oma Osagi, and Mr. Jerry Hart. The official timekeepers are Cadet Calvin Hart and Cadet Christina Hughes. The referee for tonight's bouts is Dr. Ray Barone, Lieutenant Colonel retired. All of the officials tonight are from the Department of Physical Education. Our medical staff for this evening's bouts consists of the ringside physician, Dr. Neil McMullen, and the team athletic trainers, Miss Ashley Hugavine and Miss Paige McHenry. Please join me in acknowledging our special guest this evening, Lieutenant General Darrell Williams, United States Military Academy Superintendent, and Colonel Nicholas Gist, Director of Department of Physical Education. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of our national anthem by one of our very own boxers, Cadet Christina Hughes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! The first bout of the evening will be weighing no more than 130 pounds. Boxing out of the red corner from Chelsea, Maine, Emma Begin.
As we mentioned, all of the cadets that walk through the halls of the U.S. Military Academy here at West Point are required to take boxing as part of their curriculum. We see the red corner walking into the ring tonight here at Hayes Hall. They are all very familiar with this particular building, built around the turn of the century. This is where they do their obstacle course training, which they are also required to pass. And this is their first time inside of the ring here this evening.
You're an Army boxer.
Their first time on global television. This is our first bout of the evening.
Got it.
And her opponent in the blue corner, boxing out of Traverse City, Michigan, Grace Martin.
As we look there at Grace Martin, again, this will be our first bout of the evening here at Haynes Hall. The cadets will be going at it on our Twitch broadcast. Coming up later on, we do have the WBA Featherweight World Championship on our main broadcast. And as we mentioned before, all of the cadets are required to go through boxing training. For a big background on some of the training these cadets actually go through, let's go to Karan Bhatia.
Let's go, ladies. Get that jab going.
We're going to get the boxing here. We'll be going back to that feature a little bit later on the show, exactly what all the cadets go through
Parry.
as part of their training here at West Point Military
Use the jab
Academy.
to come in, Em. Stop! Hold the clock. Take a look. Box!
There you go, Grace. Jab, hand up. Hands up.
Get those hands up. Don't slap. Watch the slapping. Emma, use the jab more. Come in behind it. Breathe in, ladies. Stay loose.
Don't wait.
Stay loose. Chin down when I throw that. Now stay on it, Emma. Stay close.
Now, Sean, these are going to be
Cut the
4
ring.
2-minute rounds. What is the difference in strategy compared to the pro ranks? Obviously, they got to get started a little bit faster. How do they catch a judge's attention?
jab
Is it
out.
just volume that they're looking at?
Yeah,
Parry,
I mean,
parry.
they're doing three 2-minute rounds, and I think it's volume, but you know, just like a
Chin down when you
professional
come in
fight,
like
you
that.
want to be precise. You want to be
Grace,
able to
chin
hit your
down.
guy
1
and not
minute,
get hit.
boxers.
You know, so I think that
Chin down, Grace.
these cadets here, you know, they are showing that they
Hands come
want
back
to be
high,
in there
Em.
and they want to fight, which I think
Don't let her in
essentially
it.
is the learning,
Snap.
the lesson that they're supposed to learn from being a part of the boxing program.
You know, as I mentioned,
Jab,
part of the
jab.
program's main purpose is not necessarily to produce, you know, worldwide
Finder,
boxing
finder.
talent or Golden Glove champions.
Get the
They want to
jab out.
produce the
Let's go.
leaders of tomorrow. They want to test them. They want to put them in uncomfortable positions early on in their military career, and what better way to do that? And let's bring in our second world
up.
champion
Return
joining us
fire.
here at the table. Speaking of extensive military experience,
Breathe.
U.S. Marine
Breathe,
veteran
Em. Breathe.
and the reigning WBO
Stay out of
junior
range.
lightweight
Stay out
world
of range.
champion,
Get ready to
Semper
go.
Fi, Jamel Herring. Thanks for
Catch your
joining
breath.
us.
And
Thank
go.
you for having me. Thank you for that lovely introduction as well, Lupe.
Now, Jamel, you of all people are most qualified to speak about this. We talked about how when you are part of the military, they don't want you to see stressful situations. They don't want you to be in uncomfortable positions prior to going out into the battlefield. How did boxing prepare you to experience some of that real live action in the military field?
For me, you know, boxing and the Marine Corps, well, my Marine Corps experience worked hand in hand, like you mentioned earlier. It was all about how you work under pressure. As you can see from watching this first bout, I seen Martin, you know, applying a lot of pressure, but you know, for the most part, Begin has been doing a great job. But you know, I think for the most part, my military experience also helped me prepare for those wars that I have had in the ring for my professional career. And every time that like if I have like a rough situation in a bout or whatever, I always think about my experience from where I came from to where I'm at now, and I always say, you know what, I've been through worse, so there's nothing else, there's nothing in front of me that can really hold me back.
Jamel, when you were in the Marines and you first got going with this program, did you have any boxing experience prior to joining the Marines? And any of the cadets that you were with?
Yes. I had actually a couple of years of boxing experience, and Sean, which is funny, we have a common opponent, and my first loss as an amateur came to Danny Jacobs.
Oh wow!
And back in New York, that was my first amateur loss. But for the most part, my the bulk of my amateur experience came under, you know, programs such as this one with the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And that's why I always, you know, love to see our military continue to, you know, support the boxing, especially on the USA boxing. Hopefully, we can see maybe some of these cadets, you know, go out there and become Olympians as well.
And you know what? The good part about this is seeing these cadets work. I see more than just two women that have basically had to get in the ring and box. Like, these women are using some technique. They're trying to use the ring, and they're not just going in there swinging. The first round was more of a swinging match, but I think it was just nerves and things like that. But they both have seemed to have calmed down, and now they're trying to actually work and do some things that a real professional boxer or amateur boxer would do.
Exactly. I love what I'm seeing from Martin. Like, she's using the ring, she's using lateral movement, she's using her range. I mean, right now, you know, she's getting in and out. You know, she's not trying to cause more of a firefight. She's trying, like you like to point out, she's trying to use technique to score points and get out of there.
In the first round, she came out guns a-blazing. A little bit more measured approach in this round, too. And we also see some success from Emma Began. Now Sean, I'm not going to use the S word, but she's the more compact fighter, such as you. She seems to be using those disadvantages is aware of those disadvantages and working with those.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about Began is she's fighting, and both women seem to have calmed down after the first round, and I think that ultimately that's what they want these cadets to be able to do is under fire, under pressure, remain calm and do what you've been taught. And so we saw the first round, both of the women were really excited, but you see now in that second round, both women have calmed down and they can see now where their openings are, and they're using the ring a little more and all of that, which I really appreciate right now.
Getting a little tired because I think it's coming down.
It is a very big platform for them, obviously. They've been in the ring before, they've done the training, but the first time you are in front of a live crowd, you've got all the cadets lining the mezzanine level here at Hayes Gymnasium, so there's obviously pressure. You want to impress. You come out, and perhaps there is that danger, Jamel, of leaving a little bit too much out there in the first round and not having anything left for the backstretch of the fight.
I mean, it's definitely a lot different when you perform under those bright lights, especially like this being, spread across the nation, worldwide, as a matter of fact. So, but for the most part, they've been very composed. I like what I'm seeing. Like I said, they calmed it down a lot from the first round, and they're listening to their corners and coming out with more of a game plan instead of just going out there and going head to head, slugging it out.
All right, well, let's cut to the chase. Who's gonna win? That's what I want to know.
Right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Martin. She's sticking and moving. She's sticking and moving. She's using the basic fundamentals with a strong jab, and she's getting out of harm's way. She's getting her shots off, but she's getting out of there.
She's making those angles.
Hook. The fighter with obviously the physical advantage, the taller, rangier fighter of the two is Martin. The same was said in your last bout, Jamel. You were the more physically gifted of the two fighters. What do you have to do when you're in there to remember that, to make sure you don't neglect those advantages that you have inside the ring?
Hands come back high.
You definitely have to believe in everything that you work towards during training camp. That's where it starts at. It all starts in the gym. So, and you have to trust your opponent. And especially like with a fighter like Gutierrez, she's bringing that pressure. She's not giving up, and she's working really hard. She's trying. So you got to stay cool in there and just continue to do what works in there.
And both women are in good conditioning today. I don't know what the punch count is. I wish we knew, because they have definitely surpassed what I thought they would do.
Stay in.
And they're still going.
Still going strong.
Begging has been more than willing to go in there and take those shots to get a few of her own into the body.
Straighten it out. Work it. Watch the bump.
Yeah, and one thing I want to see from Big Game.
30 seconds.
If she went into the body to slow down those legs. Because Martin is definitely using those legs and using that whole ring, which seems like a big ring to
more than one. Push. Get that corner. Working.
A flurry of punches from Grace Martin down the stretch. And now she comes into it to put the exclamation point on these three guys. The judge has found that she was the victim this time.
Guys,
great job between both of them. Great job.
And also joining us here on the broadcast, we have legendary referee and our official ringside scorer. Steve, how did you have that bout?
I had Miss Martin, Lady in Blue, winning this bout. It was close. It could have been 3-0 or 2-1.
I think we're all pretty much in agreement. We saw
Raise your hand. Walk with
the blue corner, Grace Martin.
Keep
Take
walking.
our opening bout
Good
here
job.
at the United States Military Academy at West Point. We are inside of Hayes Gymnasium. And I believe we are ready for our first decision of the evening. We send it up to our ring announcer.
new ring announcer.
Let's hope
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, boxing, out of the blue corner, Grace Martin.
Good job. Ladies.
Once again, Steve Smoger is right on the money. Grace Martin
Great job, great job.
Taking the victory in our first bout of the evening here inside of Hayes Gymnasium. As we mentioned before, ladies and gentlemen, if you're part of the curriculum or part of the military program here at the United States Military Academy at West Point, it's the original School of Hard Knocks. You have to take boxing as part of your curriculum. For a look at that, let's go with Curran Bhatia.
The history of boxing at West Point goes back to really the beginning of the 20th century, around 1905, when President Teddy Roosevelt, who was a big boxing, submission grappling fan, he made a recommendation that boxing be part of the physical education program at West Point.
Every cadet that comes through here has to go through the boxing program. Why do you think that's important that everyone goes through that program?
Well, boxing really develops and builds a warrior ethos.
My hands, my palms are facing each other, and my hands are relaxed in the glove. Folks, you are now in the on-guard stance. Chins down. Looking good.
You can be all talk and talk about like, oh, like in a stressful situation, like I'll do the right thing, like I won't freeze up. But the ring is a test of that. Like when you get in the ring, you can't fake it anymore. You have to stand up and stand your ground and throw punches.
We're not going to make these young men and women Golden Glove boxers. The idea is to put them in a perceived fearful situation, because one day when they're leading America's sons and daughters possibly into uncertainty and maybe someone starts shooting, they'll be able to maintain their composure and lead their soldiers as they should.
You talk about moving as your security in a tactical situation, it's the same situation here. Provides you opportunities to score and makes it very difficult for your opponent to score upon you. All right?
In the Army, we deal with a lot of adverse circumstances, and you kind of have to face it head on. Not everybody's a great boxer, but you know, if you just get in the ring and you show that grit and that resilience, you can pass the class and you can learn a lot about yourself, and you might even like it.
At first I was like, we all have to do boxing, are you sure? But one of the biggest things and tools that people use to bond are shared experiences. So you could have graduated 40 years ago and I graduate now. We both went through plea boxing. We know the pains of being punched in the face. It brings a unique perspective to our tradition here at West Point. And it's not going anywhere. It's going to be here for a long time to come, so it extends that long gray line into the future.
You know, in my many stints in college, I dropped many a class. I'm thinking that would have been another incomplete.
I don't know, Lupe. You're a tough guy.
Another incomplete on my resume there. We're getting ready for the second fight of the evening. We have Shane Ferry along with Lawrence Shepard. And for the intros, we go to our ring announcer, Devin Greenfield.
And ladies and gentlemen, for your next bout, boxing out of the red corner, out of Panama City, Florida, Shane Ferry. And his opponent, boxing out of Detroit, Michigan, from the blue corner, Lawrence Shepard.
Shane Ferry, Lawrence Shepard in our second bout of the evening.
We haven't had a crowd in a while. I forgot what that sounded like.
It feels great, doesn't it, to hear the reaction?
Yeah.
Hey, Lupe, how do you grade our new ring announcer over there? Because he seems like he's really into it.
He's a little bit too good for my liking. My job security is slowly slipping away, but you know, he's doing a very, very nice job.
In and out, use your reach.
I'm pretty sure I sparred with both these guys yesterday. This guy in the red, he's going to be switching this entire match. He switched again to southpaw, so I don't know if it's strategy or he's just going to go with whatever foot's out front.
Watch
but
straight back.
It worked yesterday when I sparred against him.
Coming straight in, you're getting caught.
Hey, one thing I've seen is that Shepard is from Detroit, Michigan, which is the Motor City, and we all know they have a great background in boxing, so I'm expecting a lot from him. But so far, I see he has a very strong, stiff jab.
Fire maneuver. Come on.
He's also very well accomplished. He says his greatest achievement was being the 152-pound Golden Gloves champion in the open division. And in open division, it's no joke. You're fighting grown men at that stage.
1 minute, boxers, 1 minute.
You know, Sean, I got a chance to see some of the footage of you sparring these guys. What a thrill for them, and I really enjoyed the way you worked with them. You made a great point of saying everybody wasn't there to try to take your head off. They knew how to work in the middle.
Yeah, and they knew how to work in the middle, and Shane Ferry is doing exactly what he did to me yesterday. He's throwing a lot of punches. He's got some really good stamina, and he's trying to find openings. You see a little pivot move he did a little pivot move again. Like he did that to me yesterday. I was like, where'd this come from? You're not supposed to know this yet.
He got caught there with a nice counter left hand from Shepard.
Straight in, Shane.
Speaking of the pivot move, he mentioned also that his favorite fighter is Vasily Lomachenko, so I think he's been watching a lot of YouTube videos. That's where the pivot comes from.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like Ferry's attitude, but he's coming in there with his head in the air a bit, and he's getting hit with those clean counters.
It's kind of like it's a no-no in boxing. You're not supposed to come straight forward at a guy. You know, he tried the pivot moves, which are good, but you know that takes some time of working and practice and practice and practice. So I do think that he should come in on more of an angle, like you said, Jamel. But I like the way he worked this first round.
Counters.
You see, he took a couple of big left hands in this first round. Another one right there from Shepard. I think Shepard was a little bit more precise than Ferry in the first round.
Ferry was definitely the aggressor, but Shepard was definitely more the cleaner shots, and it just seemed like he was just more accurate with everything in there.
Is there a danger in that, Sean, when you have a favorite fighter like Vasily Lomachenko, and you try to do things that are super advanced?
I told the guys yesterday to just keep working on the fundamentals and the basics. I told them even though I've been boxing as long as I have, I still focus on that. And it is possible to miss steps trying to do what you see other guys do, and can get you into trouble.
He's countering off you.
I couldn't agree more. So now it seems like Ferry has calmed it down a bit, and he's more composed this time around.
Yeah.
Hands are up, boxers.
I think that Ferry is faster than Shepard, and I think that he can beat him to the punch, and it's just a matter of what he does after he punches. And right now his escape moves have been pretty good.
To get a view as to how our ringside scorer, Steve Smoger, saw that first bout, Steve, how do you have a round one score?
I believe Mr. Shepard won the first round, but this is a very competitive bout. I'm very pleased with the level of experience of fellas on this at the academy. It's very, very interesting.
As Sean mentioned,
more than one.
We're getting more movement, more volume from Ferry. But when it comes to the big shots and the better time punches, they seem to be coming from Shepard, correct?
So far in this round, Ferry, he's done a lot. He looks a lot better than the first. I think he's actually pulling away.
Don't stay in front of the kill zone. That jab out,
Shepard seems like he kind of slowed down a bit.
Yeah, he's grimacing a little bit after the punches, and even when he goes to punch.
30 seconds.
So he looks a little uncomfortable, but you know, it's a part of the game.
It's the body shot. See, it's the body shot.
Wins the last 30 seconds.
That body shot got him moving on his back foot now.
And Ferry's not going to stop. We only did one round, and I know that if we had done more, he would have came just like this against me every round. He's not going to slow down.
Got 10 seconds.
Ferry with a very steady pace, working the body. Really looking to put a stamp here in the final seconds of round number 2.
Very good round.
Far better round for Ferry. I believe he won that round.
Yeah, I thought it was a good round for both guys. I thought that both guys it's like they cleaned up some things in that second round. And you know, hey, we're talking about the guys, maybe they're coaching. Maybe it could be the coaching that's helping them clean things up. Coach Barone is actually in the ring, acting as the referee, which is pretty cool. He's coming over to get some tips right now, and it's pretty cool to see Coach Barone in there moving around. Tell you how far back I go with Barone. He took my brother to an international duel in England in 2004, and I met him shortly after. You know, so that's my favorite part of boxing is the relationships that you create and you make through this whole process of being an amateur and now a professional. And the same thing goes for these cadets. These cadets are going to know each other forever. And, you know, it's a camaraderie that comes from being in the armed forces. That same camaraderie comes from being in boxing. A lot of parallels between boxing and the armed forces.
Yes, sir.
A lot of the cadets mentioned that in their interviews. They're saying anytime they feel down, they need someone to lean on, they go right to their teammates, first of all.
That's amazing.
Busy. And that's a true statement because I still speak to the men and women that I've served with in the past. So that's definitely a true statement. And it's been a while since I laced a pair of boots up, but I speak to people that I served with back in Alvares all the time.
It seems that both fighters know that the fight is pretty much on the line here in this final round.
I was going to say, let's take a look at the adjustment. You got Ferry who's still coming forward, doing what he feels was working, and now Lawrence is trying to use the ring and create some openings with his movement. And I think Ferry is going to end up forcing Lawrence into his fight.
We couldn't quite hear what Coach Perot said to him in the corner, but it certainly seemed to motivate him here in this final round. Let's go to Kern Batia.
Both fighters are actually trained by other cadets. In the red corner for Shane Ferry is trained by Manny Ahua, who says Shane Ferry does fight both ways, but they prefer southpaw and they're asking for more head movement. In the blue corner, Coach Isaiah Queen is asking for increased volume and sharper punches for Lawrence Shepard. Back to you guys.
Increased volume and sharper punches. I told you guys, I said maybe the coaching in the corner is what's helping these guys. And sure enough, I like the information that came from both corners.
Next year,
that's leadership. That's what leadership's about.
Solid advice coming from both corners here.
Nice deep. Come on, deep. Come on. We always win this.
I tell you, I wish I could be honest. That pivot would not work on me, but I love it. I love seeing that pivot.
That's because you have a thing called experience.
Yeah. I'm looking at it like that wouldn't work on me, but it's a good move for him. Good fight. Good match.
Great fight.
Good match.
A nice flurry of punches there to end the third round for both fighters. Fight number 2 here at U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Ferry Shepard. A very evenly matched bout. As we await the decision, it looks like the third round is going to be the definite round. The round that lets us know exactly who won this particular bout.
Most definitely.
Jamel, who you got?
I don't know. It was rough. I had it 1-1 going into the third round. But I think Ferry pulled it out.
I put 20 push-ups on. Oh, yeah. You going with Ferry? I'm going with Ferry. Never mind.
For the official decision, we go to ring announcer Devin Greenfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for your boxers. And now, for your winner, by split decision, boxing, out of the red corner, Shane Ferry.
You gentlemen are 2 for 2 tonight.
I knew it was a close one, though. But I just thought that Ferry, he wanted it more. He pulled it out, and he got the victory.
And we got to commend both guys. Both guys look very good. And
all right, out this way.
again, considering the level that they're at right now, I'm very proud to see that these guys are working and coming to the ring with that type of mentality to work everything that they've been learning to this point. It's pretty cool to see.
But if you had one piece of advice, a note for Ferry is lose the pivot, right?
Lose the pivot. It's not time. It's not pivot time yet.
For a look at the success of West Point boxing, we go to a feature with our referee and the architect behind the West Point boxing program, Coach Ray Barone.
First, tell me, how did you join the boxing team here?
I remember that when I showed up for Beast, everyone would go around and ask, what sports team are you going to try out for? and everyone would be like lacrosse, basketball, and then I'd say boxing, and the room would go quiet. They'd be like, "You're trying out for the boxing team? Like, do you know how hard that is?" And I remember each time we came back for tryouts, there were less and less people. People just quit, but the ones who stayed, they're champions now.
Prior to COVID, we were going on our 11th national championship in a row. We've had plenty more prior to that. We had history winning. We're here to win, and that's what we do.
This boxing program has had a lot of success. Was that intimidating for you?
Of course. And the captains here, the older cadets, as you're coming in, are sure to show you, like, this is a tradition that we look to upkeep. And it's one of the hardest teams to make here at West Point for that same reason.
You can see the growth in them from freshman year boxer to senior boxer, how they've grown. And you know, the key to winning is that you've got to be physically tough, but you got to win here. And our boxers, they don't believe they can lose.
What do you think it is about boxing that you've learned that will benefit you in the future?
It teaches you your natural capabilities to adjust, your natural capabilities to try something different if what you're doing at first is not working. Our jobs here is to protect the United States of America. That's our passion. So in that sense, boxing is helping us formulate those skills that we need to use in that instance.
Prepare for our third bout of the evening. We get a look at just exactly the amount of success that the Army Knights have had on the collegiate level in boxing. Founded in 1802, they're the oldest continuously occupied military post in America. Some of the notable names, obviously President Theodore Roosevelt decided that he wanted boxing to be part of the curriculum circa 1905, wanted to teach the cadets discipline, leadership, and courage under fire. And as we mentioned, total national championship boxing, 10 for the men, 2 for the women. And to showcase more of that talent, we go to bout number 3. We have Evan Walker out of Rowlett, Texas, facing off against Sky Williams out of Atlanta, Georgia. And for the introductions, we go to our ring announcer, Devin Greenfield.
Ready for our next bout. Out of Rowlett, Texas, from the red corner, Evan Walker. Her opponent, from Snellville, Georgia, Sky Williams.
Evan Walker in the red corner. She is an academic major in operations research, looking to be stationed in the Oxford, United Kingdom. She's facing off against Sky Williams out of Atlanta, Georgia. She is a major in law and legal studies with an emphasis in terrorism studies.
Angles.
One thing I always try to catch during the ring introductions is the energy and the attitude coming from the fighters. And Sky seemed like she was a bit more ready
got a long way to go. Breathe.
I mean, much respect to Evan. When she came out, she walked directly to her.
Lead hand is high.
And we welcome in our third member of the team here on this Twitch broadcast.
Breathe.
Mr. Brian Campbell. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks, Lupe. It's great to be here. And obviously for our Twitch viewers at home, we want you, have your say in the comment section. You got questions for the champ, Jamel Herring. You got something to say. Van Harry jumping in saying he loves how unique the venues here at Ring City are. Lupe, we've been to Puerto Rico. We've been to Freddie Roach's parking lot gym. This, though, wow, history in the making.
History is the apropos word here for this evening. As we mentioned, long storied tradition of boxing here at the United States Military Academy at West Point. We have these two women going at it. 3 2-minute rounds. This is round 1. We have in the blue corner Sky Williams facing off against Evan Walker. Jamel, what do you see from both these fighters up to this point?
For the most part, I see technique. I see a lot of technique being imposed there. They're taking their time. They're looking to place their shots well. And they just seem like they're calm and not under the pressure of the bright lights. I believe that the Sky just has a little bit more of aggression, but it's a close round. And every time Sky leads up the attack, Evan comes back with a counter and finishes last.
Yeah, for an intra-squad scrimmage as we're having here, these two have that poise, that savviness, that patience that you mentioned. Some good counter shots from both.
Right.
Sky Walker had Sky Williams had a very interesting analogy when she talked about boxing. She said you can either be the thermostat or you can be the thermometer. So the thermometer reacts to the atmosphere. The thermostat can change things, and that's her philosophy towards boxing. For a closer look at our participants in this bout, here's a closer look at Evan Walker.
Yeah. Just like I'm a captain on the boxing team, I'm a leader within the regiment, within the Corps of Cadets. And so that mental toughness that we get from boxing and like knowing you can always go farther than you think you can, our bodies last way longer than our minds do a lot of times. I think that helps me. I'm like, okay, just got to get to this next hill. Just got to get through this next mission. Just like in the ring, I just got to get through this next round. That translates well into becoming of an officer. Because it's a brotherhood, a sisterhood, and we're fighting for more than ourselves, you give your best in that fight, and you give it all because you don't want to let the person to the left or right of you down. You don't want to let your team down, and that is exactly how it is on the front lines.
The NCBA 2019 132-pound runner-up, Evan Walker, fighting out of the red corner, as well as a Rhodes Scholarship. Some of the credentials that these cadets have really are impressive.
Angles.
Ring credentials, of course, they're just learning here outside the ring. Very impressive. Evan Walker got a great reception here, almost an early crowd favorite there in the red. For having just, let's say, a group of cadets in the upper level, this feels like a full house. This feels like Madison Square Garden tonight.
They reacted nicely to that right hand landed by Evan Walker.
Hands are up.
But much respect to Sky Williams. She is not folding under the pressure. She's fighting her fight. As you can see, she's getting her combinations, getting in and out. But here comes Evan Walker again. And here we go. Here we go.
For a look at how we scored that first round, we go to Steve Smoker.
See what you got.
Sky wins the first round, but Miss Walker's leading in the second round. Close fight. Very skillful for this level of boxing.
1 minute. 1 minute the second.
Yes, sir.
Got to get busier.
In this round number 2, Sky Williams appeared to be the most, a little more tentative of the two fighters. But just as I say that, she turns it on and starts pushing Evan Walker back there a bit.
Good body shot from Walker, though. Good body shot.
Williams in the
good movement as well.
Yeah, and Williams starting to cut off the ring a little bit more and walk Evan Walker back.
But every time she's coming in attack, here comes Walker. Comes right back with 3-4 punch combinations.
Not straight back, Evan.
A series of ebbs and flows here in round number 2.
Got about 15 seconds. Sprint it out. Try 10.
A nice flurry of action from Evan Walker to close out the second round.
Here comes Williams.
For a closer look at her opponent, here's a feature on Sky Williams.
Well, when I first came to West Point, it was my very first time ever boxing. And I found out about the West Point boxing team the summer of my cadet basic training, my Beast experience. And it was there during the culmination of basic training where we had a combatives competition. And there, after rolling around a while in the dirt, I won. And the graders there, they told me that with my force and my grit and assertion, I should really look into joining the boxing team. And ever since then, it's been history.
Now, renowned boxer Clarissa Shields is making a transition into MMA. She just mentioned she did a little bit of groundwork there, BC. What do you think? Perhaps Sky Williams, the next woman to make the transition?
The next two-sport star in the making. Heck, you never know here. These are some impressive cadets that we're seeing with obviously big-time goals and dreams that may not include the ring, but they're showing some great toughness and technique for being so young into the sport so far. Really impressed.
We go into the final round here at Hayes Gymnasium at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Thus far, very evenly matched bout as we saw round number 2. Sky Williams really did rally quite a bit to even out this bout towards the end of the second stanza. And here we have the final round. It is Williams Walker.
This is definitely another close one. I have them each 1-1 in round, so I think this last round will again be the deciding factor. And here they go.
Big right hand from Sky Williams.
Hands back high.
Walker making a comeback there. Good
Hands
flurry,
up.
right hand off the jab.
Oh.
Look at them, let the hands go with the fight on the line right now.
Come on, boxers.
Each woman here seems to be landing their own flurry. They kind of wait a bit and just return fire back to their
Fire
opponent.
maneuver. Come on, fire maneuver.
Good job from Walker. Going back to the stick, but here comes Williams. Ooh, nice little uppercut. Nice little uppercut from Walker.
Now, Jamel, if you would like to see some improvements from both of these women, it seems like they're not really focusing on the counter punching. They're kind of waiting for their opponent to stop throwing, then they decide to throw and just wait for her to stop, and then the opponent fires back.
I'll say is this: they threw the defense department out the window at the beginning of the round as well. everything is guns blazing. So, and defense is not in the equation right now, but it is very exciting, and I'm loving what I see.
Well, under a minute to go here in the final round. We've seen Evan Walker really be the one to step her foot on the gas pedal. Let's see if Sky Williams can answer as we close down.
And here she comes.
You know, she made that great thermostat analogy, and if she's going to win this bout, she's going to have to turn up the heat here in this final half of the third round.
Who's going to reach deeper? Straighten it out, ladies. Snap, snap.
Great finish, great finish.
And the crowd's into it. I love how the crowd's into it.
Nice bit of action for both women. Obviously, two of the favorites here at the United States Military Academy of West Point, the cadets, joining us all lining the upper mezzanine. It makes a great difference when you have a crowd inside of an arena here.
Most definitely, because when that crowd behind you, it motivates and pushes you to that next level, and especially when you're down and you have that crowd behind you as well, they can also get you out of a tight jam and boost that morale again.
And Lupe, we may not have the same in-ring experience as the great Sean Porter and Jamel Herring, but behind the microphone it gets you pretty fired up just the same.
It definitely gets you excited. Our third of four bouts here on Twitch. Proud members of the United States Military Academy at West Point, showcasing their talent, as we mentioned. The original school of hard knocks here at West Point. Every one of the cadets has to go through boxing training as part of the military program, and definitely teaches them discipline, teaches them courage, and teaches them how to react in stressful situations. And speaking of stressful situations, anytime you're a fighter that's put in a lot of effort into a bout, and you've got those last few moments, you're going to test this, Jamel, when you don't know exactly what the decision is going to be. You put in all that hard work.
I was just saying to myself, this is a tight one. I don't know, I can't call either, but I'm definitely proud of both of these individuals. They did a great job tonight.
Let's end the suspense, and we go up to our ring announcer, Devin Greenfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, a fantastic bout. One more round of applause for your competitors. And now, your winner, boxing, out of the red corner, Evan Walker.
Evan Walker, the major in operations research, looking to be stationed at her first duty station in Oxford, United Kingdom. She comes away with the win here in our third bout. Inside of Hayes Gymnasium at the United States Military Academy at West Point. Do you agree with that decision, Jamel?
Yeah. Like I said, for me, it was a toss-up, but I believe that Evans was definitely, she pulled it out. She pulled it out in the end. She was more effective. She started using the ring. I love the footwork that she displayed, and she was just, she was just going for broke.
The opening was there for somebody to do something to get the judge's attention, and it seemed to be Evan Walker in the red there, letting the hands go, as you mentioned. Clean left hand, snapping the chin, the neck back of Sky Williams with some of these stiff shots. That's always a great indicator if you're a judge.
And that catches the judge's attention a lot more at times, those effective, clean shots.
Let's go over to Curran Batia with the winner.
Evan, that was a tough fight, a hard-fought fight. What did you think of your performance in there?
I
think I did okay. I definitely had to pick up the pace. I'm a more defensive fighter, but so is Sky. She came in there hot and ready to go, so I had to crank it up a notch.
This was the fight I had circled on my calendar when we knew we were coming here, because you and Sky are very familiar with each other, right?
Yeah.
You just sparred the other day. So what was that like, sparring someone you knew very well?
It was nice. I knew, how her speed is and how she goes, and how I could actually tailor my fight to compete against her. So I appreciate the advantage of having known how she fights.
In your corner was fellow cadet Jack Chronister giving you advice. The advice was press more volume. Were you listening to that advice in your corner?
Yes, I did. I think the second and third round you saw it as I threw more punches. Like I said earlier, I'm more of a defensive fighter. But Jack said I got to get in there and throw punches, so that's what I did.
We know that every freshman that comes through West Point has to take plea boxing. You did that, and now you have a WBC medal on your neck there. So what do you think about everything you've achieved here?
It's awesome. I know. I was just talking to Jack. Jack's like, you got to leave it all out here because this is it. Like, we didn't get nationals for the last 2 years. Last time I had a fight like this was nationals my sophomore year. So for this to be my last Army boxing experience is pretty euphoric right now.
Evan, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, for your final cadet bout, out of East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, boxing, out of the red corner, AJ Farrow-Maney. And his opponent, out of Los Angeles, California, boxing, out of the blue corner, Elias Manning.
All right, so we are all set with Eli Manning of Los Angeles, California in the blue, AJ Farrow-Maney in the red.
Now, Bob, Elias Manning, as he was called, and is it him wearing giant blue? Is that a coincidence here?
I don't know, but can he throw that big touchdown pass? So I have a little intel on AJ Farrow-Maney in the red.
Straight back, AJ.
He's in E Company 1.
Work it out.
Which is the company that my son was in upon graduation. And he was friends with AJ, and he said one of the more talented boxers on the team. We'll see if the scouting report was good.
See what kind of intel the Papa family can contribute to the broadcast there. I appreciate that.
Breathe in.
Well, I've certainly got to give it up to the cadets here who are fighting so well, showing us such great technique and heart. How about our research staff, led by Mark Ortega here for Eli Manning in the blue? His ambition to bring back the McRib permanently. Jamel, you got to have a reaction to that.
Right now, I'm just so focused and tuned in on Manning, how he's so well composed, and he's boxing beautifully in my opinion. And he's not throwing those Hail Marys yet like the Eli Manning we all know, but he's definitely looking great in there.
Fire and maneuver, get those jabs working.
Seriously. The
McRib?
with the
30 seconds.
Not my favorite fast food item,
but watch the slap. Got about 15 seconds, boxers.
I don't know about the McRib, but I see Eli going for the ribs a lot more. Oh, good uppercut, good uppercut.
Oh, hand by Manning.
I think he started with, I think he got the round with that one.
Let's take a closer look at Eli Manning.
My funny story would be plebe and kind of continually going on is I broke my nose a lot here on the team, and every time I break my nose, the trainers are pretty scared about it, but our coach, he has big bear paws basically, so he just kind of sits me down and has my head stay still and sets it right with his hand back. So My mom's always pretty mad. So they really love me being on the team, and they're proud of me, but my mom could always tell when I have a pretty busted up face.
A weathered nose for Eli Manning.
That's a badge of honor. Am I wrong here, Jamel?
Yeah. Too bad he didn't have that the face guard on tonight, but.
Occupational hazard, right, Jamel?
Oh yeah, but sometimes you gotta go through those rough and tough times to get through it, to get through battle. And so so far, I like what I'm seeing.
Round number 2 begins. Eli Manning in the blue. AJ Farrow-Maney in the
Pop
red.
that jab, boxers. Come on.
I want to see something out of Maney this round and make some adjustments. Manning was more aggressive, seemed to land the bigger shots. Although Maney was targeting the body more, I think he's going to have to let his hands go. Get some combinations going to try to take back control.
Body if the hands are high.
Good uppercut from Manning.
Body if the hands are high.
He's going forward with that jab. Because the first round, he was a bit too lax. He was letting Manning get off first.
Take your feet.
And he was just getting hit with a lot of body shots, and he wasn't, And I like what Manning was doing because he was forcing Manning to bring his hands down, and that's when he kept coming up top with that beautiful uppercut that we see in the first round.
Jamel, I mean, there's no, when you got a 3-round fight, it's not like there's any kind of feeling out process that you got to just go straight forward.
You got to make those adjustments on the fly.
1 minute and a second, boxers. Don't hold on.
Again, just like in the battlefield, you got to make those same adjustments on the fly, and that's what I'm seeing from both individuals. Good right hand for Manning.
Manny's got to find his
Work it out. Come on, boxers.
Looks a little bit winded.
Come on, work it out.
I think it's from all those body shots he's been taking leading up to this point.
Come on, boxers, breathe. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Come on, boxers, wipe those elbows, Eli.
He's not just busier there in the blue. He's been
Come on.
more physical. He's been
20
taking
seconds.
the fight to Maney and then leaning on him, forcing some active clinches here. That can wear a guy down if you're going to lean your weight all over him.
That could be from Sean making a visit yesterday, because I see some Sean Porter in there. he's not making it easy on Manny, and he's definitely making it uncomfortable in there.
And you're getting boxed right there.
I mentioned that AJ Farrow-Maney is
but you gotta keep close on it.
E1 company, and there's one of his former company mates, Christopher. That's his official graduation photo from the class of 2020.
Looks like a leader, Bob, all right?
And then he let his little brother Max play with the sword, huh?
I'd be careful there. I've seen video of Max. He's got hands. A little bit wild there, Bob.
And then, you know what his favorite thing is going to Mikey Stadium for football games. I don't know if you guys have been to a football game at Mikey Stadium, but it is a life experience. It is phenomenal. And when they play Tsunami right before kickoff and the whole place is jumping up and down, it is worth the price of admission.
One of the more unique venues in college football, right on the edge of the water there, the beautiful bucolic scenery around it. It's incredible.
Yeah, Christopher's at Fort Benning right now and getting ready to go to Ranger School. And Jamel, being a Marine, that there's a lot of heavy lifting going on.
Of course, definitely.
Well, quickly here, Jamel, speaking of heavy lifting, we've got Ray Backwoods jumping in on our Twitch comments section. He wants to know your future. Do you want Tank Davis? Do you want to move up and challenge Teofimo Lopez at 135? What can we expect coming off the victory over Carl Frampton?
I just want to fight the world champion. My goal is to get another world title around my waist. So whoever has those titles around their waist, that's what I'm going for.
That jab out, AJ.
You have to believe at the very least, though, your phone's going to be ringing. You did send the great Carl Frampton to retirement. There's a reward for that, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like the doors have definitely opened a lot more. I mean, just before the fight, people were counting me out, but, like boxing is funny like that. Once you score that impressive win, everything changes. And I'm just honored to be in that conversation, to be able to fight for, other world titles in my future now.
1 minute and a third.
Do you like 130 pounds where you've been operating as a champion, or do you see a future move elsewhere?
I'm actually comfortable where I'm at. I can see myself unifying with a guy like Oscar Valdez, for instance, but I can also see myself moving back up to 135 because that's where I started my pro career at. And people who followed my career, I also fought in the Olympics at 141 pounds, so there's really no issue staying or going.
30 seconds!
The last cadet fight. Eli Manning in the blue is taking it to A.J. Farrell-Maney throughout the course of this fight.
And it seemed like his nose is held up very well throughout this fight, so credit to that. Manning is definitely giving a lot of defense, but if he watched closely, he gets his head on the side of his opponent's shoulder.
And right outside the south gate, there's a McDonald's. And I think Eli Manning has earned himself a McRib.
And a sponsorship.
Well done, well done.
You're good in there.
A.J. Farrell-Maney. Things going up in this fight.
Man, I agree. Like you can see that the technique and skill is there, but he definitely didn't, put out as much as Manning did. Manning was like on go from start to finish, and like he did not slow down for 1 second.
He looks like the guy that knows it.
Yeah. When you know, you know.
The other guy is slow, taking the headgear off and the gloves. It's like, I got some of this to see.
I think Eli's not done. I don't think 3 rounds were enough.
I believe Sean can go in there and give us some extra rounds. Exactly. Sean is always ready.
This is it, boxers.
Remember, it's an inter-squad scrimmage with the West Point boxing team, but a good performance by Eli Manning.
And ladies and gentlemen, our final belt. A round of applause. And for tonight's final victor, boxing, out of the blue corner, Elias Manning.
McDonald's, if you're watching, bring back the McRib permanently, please. He's deserved it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank you all for attending the Ring City USA boxing event.
Congratulations to
the evening's cadet bouts.
Both cadets in an impressive performance, and Eli Manning earns the medal in his win against A.J. Farrell-Maney. Well, there's so many great storylines when it comes to Ring City boxing, and here being at West Point, including the story of Boyd Melson. For more, here's Kern.
So Boyd, we're here at the Hayes Gymnasium at the U.S. Military Academy in West Point. And I know that you had to spend a lot of time here, right? 5:30 a.m. morning. So what was it like here?
It was dark and it was cold. And I think especially in that sophomore year was when and even at the end of freshman year, I really started, I'd wonder if I made the right choice for my life.
So your journey for boxing started here at West Point. You hadn't thrown a punch before, you learned here, but then you started to have success, right, on a national scale as an amateur, but it wasn't easy. So what was that part of your journey like?
When I left West Point to go to the next level, I had to learn very quick. So it was the first time in boxing, I wasn't able to use any natural attributes so much to overcome a gap that I have. I had to now start using this. I was good enough with my natural attributes at this level to stand out from everybody else. At that next one, not by any means. Everybody I would face when I left here, I don't have to be better than them. I just have to be better than them now. And I would always think, for a moment, I can be better than anybody for a moment. I just have to be better than they are right now.
Your ex-girlfriend, Kristen Zaccanino, was in a wheelchair, and you wanted to help this cause. And the way that you decided to help this cause was you would become a professional boxer and not take a dime from your winnings and instead donate that to spinal cord research.
So at the end now, Kristen and I, we started Team Fight to Walk, and we raised, between my purses, our galas we threw, inspiring others through my talking, through Kristen's talking, we raised $400,000.
Where do you get all the energy to work on all these causes, and how much of that energy do you attribute to what you learned here at West Point and from Plebe Boxing?
I really bought into this school. Like, I bought into what choose the harder right over the easy wrong. Cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, nor tolerate those who do. No excuse.
Boyd, I want to thank you for your service, and thank you so much for everything you're doing for spinal cord research, for all of the other charitable work. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
What an inspiring story that Boyd shared with us, and tremendous, tremendous path of doing good deeds, and that's what it's all about here at West Point. Well, Boyd is with our own Sean Porter.
Yes, I'm here with Boyd, the Rainmaker Melson. Boyd, what do we see today? How do these cadets feel after being able to perform in front of all of us?
You saw competition.
Yeah.
We're trained to compete.
Yeah.
Everything is set up in this school for you to compete, either individually, collectively, or as a collective team, but one at a time. Always to compete. Coach Barone on the Army boxing shirts, on the back, no retreat, no surrender. Mm-hmm. You didn't really see anyone going backwards, right?
Right.
That's not the Army way, going forward.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw.
And that's amazing. And so I know you personally, so I know coming to West Point, you had no boxing experience. Most of these cadets have no boxing experience. When you first got here, understanding that boxing would be a required curriculum, what did you think about that, and how did you move through the boxing ranks?
I was super hyped.
Yeah.
I found out, so we finished cadet basic training in August, and before you start your freshman year, and like the next week I found out I'm taking boxing at 7:35 a.m. 3 times a week. And it's the fall into winter, and so we're putting on, it's snow outside, coming out with the mouthpiece, and I called my father up, who's a retired first sergeant. I said, Daddy, we got boxing, rise and shine.
Yeah.
So I was in heaven, and what I found I was able to do is figure out if I was who I believed I was in that ring. And I always thought I was the type of dude who could handle himself, but I didn't know I was never trained.
You've been talking to me. I want you to talk to everyone that's, I believe we're on Twitch TV. I know who you are, and I know what you've gained as an Army veteran. Tell everyone at home what you've gained as a boxer coming through, as a cadet, and coming through what you learned and what you gained as a human being through boxing.
Boxing has really helped build upon, it complemented what I learned by going to West Point, and that is how to not get overwhelmed. How to slow reality down around you so you're breathing, and if you focus on your breathing, everything else slows so you don't panic. So what may look like a split-second reaction in real time is actually thinking and contemplating and going through the drills you've trained and deciding, is this the right time to implement this? So I didn't know which camera to look at, the left or right.
Where's the red light at? Just look for the red light.
I got you. So that's the big, not to get overwhelmed, and that helped me when I was deployed. Because when you're deployed, you're stuck in the same day for 9 months to a year to even longer, and you know it's going to end, but when every day is repetitive, and after 100 of the same days, you know it's going to end, but you don't really believe it's going to end. Kind of like a really hard training camp where you go through Hell Week that first week. You only know that, so you think that every week is going to be like that, but you get stronger. Your fibers tear, you evolve. So I learned that through here, so I learned how to take it one punch at a time when I was deployed.
Listen, this will be my last question for you, and again, going off of my experience, I feel that boxing and boxers we set ourselves apart from many other athletes. Tell me and what you think, how necessary is boxing to an athlete, boxing to an individual in life?
My coach used to tell me that the only way you really learn about yourself is by physically failing. Because that's when you feel like death may come if you keep going.
So failing in something physically helps you reveal. It's like a litmus test. Do you pass the blockers for who you believe you are?
Yeah.
There's nothing like a sport that's designed to inflict pain on you, similar in actual fight, to challenge your self-concept. I think every human alive needs to have their self-concept challenge, because they'll learn that they're mortal. They'll have a greater respect for their fellow human.
I believe that.
And they won't be afraid to get tired, because they'll see them when they physically fail. They're still alive.
Still alive, and you can make it
You're
to the
still
next day.
alive. And as long as you're alive, there's hope.
Yeah. Well, you know I love you. I'll talk to you after all this. And we're sending it back to Bob, I hope, because they didn't tell me what else to do. So we're on Twitch, so we can make mistakes. It's okay.
Dude, good to have you back, man. I'm glad you're feeling well. Like the kicks. Sean's sporting tonight, too. Hey, everybody out there, you're watching on Twitch. It's a big night. We still got 3 more fights coming up in 30 minutes on Twitch, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Then we go live on NBCSN tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Here's what we have upcoming for you on Twitch. Ring City, USA at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And then again at 9 p.m. Eastern, we're on NBCSN. We got 3 more fights for you on NBCSN. And then make sure right after we're done on NBCSN, you come right back here to Twitch for Inside the Ropes. What a really cool experience it is, and we are just getting started here this evening. From West Point, the cadets put on quite a show. Anyone, anytime, anywhere, it's Ring City, USA. Twitch Bouts coming up at 6:30 on a full night of boxing from West Point, New York, on the Hudson.
Welcome to West Point. Welcome to the United States Military Academy and the historic Hayes Gymnasium, home of the Black Knights, the 10-time National Collegiate Boxing Champions. Welcome to Ring City, USA, where rising stars earned their stripes in crossroad fights, with careers on the line and Saturday night main events just a win away.
Here at West Point, they call it the Warrior Ethos, an ethos that extends from Grant to Eisenhower, from Patton to Austin, a fighting spirit that bonds every graduate, every member of the Long Gray Line. Tonight, for the first time ever, professional boxing comes to the United States Military Academy, where boxing is not just a competitive sport, it's a mandatory part of the curriculum, an essential part of cadet culture. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bob Papa. So glad you could join us. Ring City, USA, in the United States Military Academy on the banks of the Hudson in West Point, New York.
Right.
And we have an exciting night for you here on Twitch. We've got 3 bouts for you to get things going. Then on NBCSN tonight at 9 p.m. we will have our card as well. And then make sure you come right back here to Twitch inside the ropes for basically the boxing post-game show. So we're getting set for our first bout of the evening. Let's send it up to the ring and welcome in the one, the only, the incomparable Lupe Contreras.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the United States Military Academy at West Point, this is Ring City, USA. Anyone, anytime, anywhere, presented in association with Bash Boxing. We start the evening with this bout set for 4 rounds or less in the super featherweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Mark Consentino, Alan Nace, and James Pierce. At the sound of the bell, the man in charge of the ring, referee Jamil Antoine. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing white with gold lettering on the scale. He registered an official 129 3/4 pounds. Tonight, he steps into the ring for the 4th time as a pro with a record of 1 victory against 2 losses. Fighting out of Pasco, Washington, Luis Lightning Lou Alvarado. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing gold with red and white trim, his official weight 129 1/2 pounds. Tonight, this U.S. Army veteran goes to war inside the ring with his undefeated record of 3 victories. 2 of those victories coming by way of KO. Hailing from Miami and fighting out of Tampa, St. Pete, Florida, Daniel Bailey Jr.
Gentlemen, we've been over the rules in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Let's touch them up.
All right, so we are getting set for our first bout here on Twitch. And fired up and ready to go, Daniel Bailey and Luis Alvarado. Ryan Campbell and company, we are all set to go and underway.
I'm very familiar.
Knocked down. Right
very
here,
familiar with Daniel Bailey. He was actually
4,
one of my sparring training partners out in
6,
Colorado Springs.
7,
very great talent,
8,
and it looks like it's
9,
over.
10.
Woo! Just like that, guys.
It happens.
Alvarado claimed it was to the back of the head. We're going to have to check out the replay, but that was a left hand, and it only took 1.
That's all it takes in boxing. It takes 1 shot. I would have loved to talk about Bailey a lot more during this fight, because you know he's a great talent. He trains out there alongside of me, Terrence Crawford, and others. But he got the job done. That's all that matters. And on to the next.
Bailey, the cousin of former two-division champion Randall Bailey, who we know as the KO master himself.
Not often that you could do a complete round highlight, but we're going to do it right here. So take a look at how this thing unfolded, and you know, Bailey working a little jab and
counter uppercut.
Oh, yeah, there was nothing behind the head. Oh my gosh.
That was a good left hook.
That's the front of the face, in fact. And you get hit there, you're going to be in for it.
You know, he got grazed a couple seconds, you know, maybe about 10 seconds earlier, you know, when he dipped low and he got hit in the back of the head, but that's not what caused this.
I mean, maybe he got hit so hard that he felt the jolt in the back of the head, but it definitely was a clean left hook.
Hey, how much of it, too, you think when Bailey came up with his head, it landed right on the chin of Alvarado, and then the punch came immediately right after? It's almost like he took a combination without two punches being thrown.
Yeah, it was quick.
That's a short shot, too, right on the button. We didn't have time to read Bailey's credentials, a four-time U.S. Army champion, cousins of some boxing royalty like I mentioned there, but look at that shot.
I mean, just before the fight, we were speaking about if he carried the power like his cousin, but it seems like from that highlight, he definitely does.
Double S, Steve Spoger.
Bobby, don't tell a guy because he got his grazed by a head. It was a beautiful shot, and he really should be ashamed of himself not getting up and complaining right away he got hit in the back of the head. So as a referee, it's very disappointing when he looked. That's called exit stage right, looking for a chance to get out, and to come all the way from Washington and last 10 seconds it doesn't do the sport well, really. Very, very embarrassed on his behalf.
Double S not pulling punches.
Yes, sir.
Steve, would you count quicker in that instance as a referee?
As soon as he started with the back of the head, I know he wants out. And I hope you all realize that. As soon as he rubbed his head, I knew the fight was over.
All right, so for the official time of the stoppage, here's Lupe Contreras.
Inside of Hayes Gymnasium at the United States Military Academy at West Point, referee Jamil Antoine completes the count of 10 with an official time of 27 seconds of the opening round. Your winner by way of KO, U.S. Army veteran Daniel GDFE Bailey Jr.
So he improves to 3-0, gets his third stoppage for Daniel Bailey.
Great job, great job.
Jamel, you were mentioning earlier you did get a chance to spar with Bailey, and the first question I would have had for you was, could he punch like his cousin Randall Bailey? Did you get a good taste of his ability in the ring with him?
Oh, he could definitely punch. He could definitely punch, but for the more overall, he has a greater showcase of talent. You know, he's very fundamentally sound, very slick, skilled. And that all, you know, that credits to the program with the all-armor team as well. And because, you know, for the most part, him training out in Colorado Springs in that high elevation, that does serve a great purpose in how far you can go.
Quick work for Daniel Bailey. He's over with Kern.
Daniel, you improved now to 4-0. That was a very quick fight. Could you learn anything in there from that?
Just being more patient, you know, and settling down faster. There's always room for improvement.
We know that you are a 4-time U.S. Army champion. So what does it mean to get this win here at West Point?
It feels real special because everybody not granted with this opportunity.
You had such a quick fight that we're going to look back at it. I want you to take me through it. So look at this monitor over here. We're going to roll some highlights. He was complaining about back of the head. Did you feel like you hit him in the back of the head at all?
No, I didn't hit him in the back of the head at all. I hit him on the button.
So normally we do highlights. We can do this from first bell because this was so fast. So tell me what did you see right here?
Catching the rhythm. He surprised me. I thought we studied him as a southpaw. But he came out differently. Right there, left foot to the
Knockdown.
chin.
Right here, right here.
And we're going to take one more look at it.
4, 5,
So he started complaining about back of the head.
6.
Here's the replay. What do you see?
Heads did come together right there.
Your heads came together, but then you landed the left hook.
Right.
So he went down. He was complaining. Do you feel like it was the left hook that caused the damage
Definitely the
there?
left hook. Definitely the left hook. If you want to do it again, we can.
He's down there. So you guys were coming together. There was a quick clash of heads, but the left hook straight to the head, and he goes down. Do you think he wanted out of that fight? Is that why he started holding the back of his head?
I don't know. I just feel like he should have. He could have gotten up, but at the end of the day, I don't know how he was really feeling, so I can't really say nothing on that one.
This atmosphere, Hayes Gym. I mean, what does it feel like to fight here?
The energy is there. I love it. Yeah, energy is there.
So what's next for you? What do you want to do next?
I'll be competing in Myrtle Beach on May 15th and, on Chrissy Martin's card, and I'm just going to keep the ball rolling, stay sharp, stay focused, and stay in the gym.
Daniel, congratulations.
Hey, thank you for the opportunity.
Well, here on Ring City, USA, we're always very cognizant and careful as far as safety precautions. So they're cleaning the ring. It'll take about 7 or 8 minutes to get that sanitized, and they use that spray and a little wipe down. First fight under the New York State Athletic Commission in 13 months. So everybody is tested for COVID-19, fighters, handlers, promoters, commission, production staff. No fans in attendance other than the cadets that were here. Daily temperature and symptom checks. Masks required at all times except fighters and announcers, and obviously maintain social distancing. That is always imperative. Well, there's such great tradition here at West Point, including that of being a plebe.
The history of boxing at West Point goes back to really the beginning of the 20th century, around 1905, when President Teddy Roosevelt, who was a big boxing, submission grappling fan, he made a recommendation that boxing be part of the physical education program at West Point.
Every cadet that comes through here has to go through the boxing program. Why do you think that's important that everyone goes through that program?
Well, boxing really develops and builds a warrior ethos.
My hands, my palms are facing each other, and my hands are relaxed in the glove. Folks, you are now in the on-guard stance. Chins down. Looking good.
You can be all talk and talk about like, oh, like in a stressful situation, like I'll do the right thing, like I won't freeze up. But the ring is a test of that. Like when you get in the ring, you can't fake it anymore. You have to stand up and stand your ground and throw punches.
We're not going to make these young men and women Golden Glove boxers. The idea is to put them in a perceived fearful situation, because one day when they're leading America's sons and daughters possibly into uncertainty, and maybe someone starts shooting, they'll be able to maintain their composure and lead their soldiers as they should.
You talk about moving as your security in a tactical situation, it's the same situation here. Provides you opportunities to score and makes it very difficult for your opponent to score upon you. All right?
In the Army, we deal with a lot of adverse circumstances, and you kind of have to face it head on. Not everybody's a great boxer, but you know, if you just get in the ring and you show that grit and that resilience, you can pass the class and you can learn a lot about yourself, and you might even like it.
At first I was like, we all have to do boxing, are you sure? But one of the biggest things and tools that people use to bond are shared experiences. So you could have graduated 40 years ago and I graduate now. We both went through plebe boxing. We know the pains of being punched in the face. It brings a unique perspective to our tradition here at West Point. And it's not going anywhere. It's going to be here for a long time to come, so it extends that long gray line into the future.
First instituted by Teddy Roosevelt in the early 1900s to make the soldiers tougher and more rough and tumble, and boxing became a mandatory part of the program and has been going strong ever since. We're set for our next bout of the evening as we send it back up to the ring and Lupe Contreras.
Entering the ring, Ángel Antonio Contreras.
Mario Contreras. Chachoro, 26 years of age, from Mexico. Last fought on February the 20th of this year. Lost a 8-round split decision to Roman Cardenas in Orlando, Florida.
His opponent, Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker, just 19 years of age, out of Los Angeles, California. 8-0 with 7 knockouts. He fought on March the 20th. Picked up another victory, trained by his father, Norman Walker. Over 110 amateur fights. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for our next bout in the featherweight division. And you see Jalen Walker at 19 years of age, weighed in at 125.8 pounds, rehydrated to 137. Contreras rehydrated to 141. Slight height and reach advantage in favor of the younger Jalen Walker. And back for the formal introductions, here's Lupe.
We continue inside Hayes Gymnasium at the United States Military Academy at West Point. This is Ring City, USA, anyone, anytime, anywhere. Presented in association with Bash Boxing. This bout set for a distance of 6 rounds or less in the super featherweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Mark Consentino, Alan Nace, and Steve Weisfeld. At the sound of the bell, the man in charge of the action, referee Ricky Gonzalez. Introducing first, the fighter standing in the blue corner, wearing red with gold and white trim. He weighed in officially at 126.5 pounds. In 16 pro bouts, he maintains a record of 11 victories against 4 losses, 1 bout even, 7 of those victories coming by way of KO. Hailing from Monterrey, Nuevo León, Mexico, Ángel Antonio Cachorro Contreras. His opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing blue with gold trim, he weighed in officially at 125.75 pounds. Tonight, in his 9th professional bout, atop the Ring City, USA canvas, he puts his undefeated record on the line, consisting of 8 victories. 7 of those victories coming by way of KO. Fighting out of Los Angeles, California, Jalen Skywalker.
Ya te di las reglas en el camerino, protéjase todo el tiempo y obedeces mis órdenes todo el tiempo. I gave you instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch them up.
So we're going to get a chance to look at Jalen Walker. Talented prospect, 19 years of age. Getting some last-minute loosening up.
I don't know how loose he does need to get, Bob, when just 33 days ago he was scoring another victory, staying very active at just age 19.
Hey, Jamel, as a world champion in your own right, you see this kid 19 years of age and you know, starting to try to climb up the ladder. What are some of the things that you're looking for early out of his game? Is he?
Well, for starters, he has a great amateur pedigree, and that always plays big going into the pro rankings. You know, he's a 3-time national PAL champion, a 2-time silver medalist at the Junior Olympics. And, you know, I glance at his corner, he's trained by his father, but he also has the great Rudy Hernandez in his corner as well. So, you know, he has all the tools and he has the great team behind him. All, you know, for me, he just has to focus and listen and just, you know, take things one fight at a time, and he'll get to where he wants to be at.
Watch your heads. What about when you're going against a guy that's a little bit more of a veteran? You're fighting a guy from Mexico. You have to have just a sort of certain mindset of how this fight's probably going to go.
Oh yeah, definitely. But for starters, you can't underestimate anyone over there. You know, Jalen, he comes in with a good KO ratio, and you know, some young fighters, they start to fall in love with their power. But you know, you still have to take things slowly in there, because you don't want to get too overconfident at times, and you start making, that's when you start making those small mistakes. But right now, what we're seeing, you know, he's sharp. He's got what I call tunnel vision, and you know, he looks good. He looks impressive right now. He's going to the head, and you know, going to the body. He's mixing it up.
Brian, you know, you look at Walker and you see, okay, he's 8-0. He's got 7 knockouts, but his last fight was the first time that he fought a guy that actually had a record over 500. So it's one of those things you got to take a little bit with a grain of salt, right?
Certainly, certainly, and you're gonna have to watch out. Look, you give respect to everybody across the ring from you just to step in there, but you're seeing, look, you can tell when you're this hungry and you believe in your abilities, you want to test yourself at the higher level. He's now doing that, second fighter in a row with a winning record, like you mentioned. You can see the poise, you can see the confidence, and it may be a little bit too early, Jamel, to give Walker the great Mexicutioner nickname that the late Roger Mayweather had. But in 9 pro fights, this is his 8th against a fighter of Mexican descent. And he's 7-0 with 6 knockouts in that fight. So he's been off to a great start to his career.
With that nickname comes great responsibility, because now people are going to expect a lot from you, especially when you go toe-to-toe with another Mexican contender. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of early, but you know, the kid has a bright future. He's looking great. He's confident and he's sure of himself, especially when you take a name like that.
Well, you know, I gave him the name.
Oh,
he's going with the name Skywalker here, which makes a lot of sense.
He has the force. You know, he has the force right now, and he definitely has the force in those punches.
It's the end of the first round for Walker and Contreras.
How you doing?
Good.
How's your father? Huh? What you seeing in there? Huh?
Every time I go at him, he's taking a step back.
Okay, well, feint the jab before you go in. Feint it. Feint that jab, and come down and shoot that left right there.
Step in before you even punch, because he takes a step back, and when he takes a step back, don't take a step forward.
Ok, saca la chompa en cada golpe, güey. En cada golpe saca la chompa y levántate. Que no se te olvide cruzar al pecho. Al pecho y levanto. Fíntale, que sea más creíble la finta.
Make sure you throw some feints. Just open up on him, man.
Que sea más creíble esa finta.
You got to work those feints. Make them a little bit more strong there. Make those feints stronger.
Round number 2 begins.
I love the instructions in the corner from Skywalker. His father was asking him what he sees in there, instead of, you know, giving out so many demands, and you know, he's asking his son from firsthand, what does he see, and they're going off of that. And you gotta love that. You gotta love that. That's just great chemistry right there from the corner.
Yeah, we're talking about Walker, Jamel and Brian, but let's talk about the other side here as far as Contreras, and he's done a couple nice things here in the first part of this fight.
Well, look, he has a natural speed disadvantage against Walker. You can see that clearly. Yeah. But the best way to counter speed is certainly with timing. I've liked what he's done so far to try to land that right hand. He's worked in some uppercuts with the right hand, knowing that Walker's going to get off first with the jab, but trying to time him and try to slow down Walker's forward advancement.
Hey, Steve Smoger, Hall of Fame referee. How'd you see round 1?
I saw round 1 for Sky, showing nice skill, ring generalship. I think he's commanding the pace and he just took a nice uppercut though. So as you said, Bobby, the other gentleman from Mexico is doing a fine job thus far.
What are you looking for, Double S, as you're scoring these rounds?
Who controls the pace? Who is asserting their will on the other fighter? and generally who's in command of the round, who's coming forward. You have the 4 aspects of scoring, and you apply them in every round. So it's very, very interesting. Thus far, very competitive.
Now, you're a Hall of Fame referee, one of a very select group. How would you categorize yourself as a judge?
Well,
you HOF yet?
Yeah, well, I've had the opportunity to gain this Hall of Fame ring, and
which he never mentions, by the way. Never mentions it at all.
Keep that to yourself. But during my course, I've done, Bobby, about 36 world titles around the world. So, and being with this great team has really sharpened my skills. So I feel that I'm holding my own. Thus far, my Ring City record is unbeaten. So I'll go there. So I'm happy with that. Only Sean Porter has issues.
You know, we've distracted Double S this whole round, so you may have to take my scorecard.
I will.
He was flashing the ring.
That's it.
Pretty good round for Walker.
You give Double S a live mic, you never know what's going to happen, Bob. All right, this is live TV. I love it.
We should get Smoger to give us a judge's score on Inside the Ropes. We can judge how we do. I'm going to guess Smoger gave that round to Walker.
Te faltó tirar. Empezaste bien, pero le bajaste, güey. ¿Te agarró? No, entonces, cabrón, tírame.
You started well.
Tírame,
yes,
forgot to throw later
you're
on.
right. That which I saw, he continues to dominate to a degree based on what he, how he acted in the first, the other round. So I think he's really asserting his will and skill in this bout thus far.
Ganarle el paso. Ambos lados, trabájale.
You got to work both sides. Work both sides.
Sobre el cruzado de él, güey, trabájale también.
You don't know, man. Come on.
So, how feet in your left hand? When you
well, let's take a look at some action from Jalen Walker in round number 2.
You know, Walker, in the first round, he was doing he was showing a lot of boxing abilities, but in the second round, he started fighting Contreras' fight, but he started outworking him. And when I was looking at this fight, I seen that Contreras is not the biggest puncher, so I figured he would have to outwork him or box him a lot better. But you know, Walker got in there with him and started, you know, improving on his own game. And he went right back to it again here, as we see. And you know, Gutierrez is having a hard time in there with him.
Jamil, something we referenced earlier is Walker having such a decorated amateur background, you as well, and we've been welcoming questions from our Twitch users watching this. Van Harry wants to know, who was your toughest opponent as an amateur?
My toughest, that's a good one. My toughest opponent as an amateur, it probably would have been Pedro Sosa. Pedro Sosa from the Bronx, New York. Pedro was, you know, I had to face him twice in the U.S. Olympic trials. And Sean knows how that can be. You know, once you get that first victory over a fighter, you might. It's like shaking up an angry hornet's nest. You know, they might come back at you with a lot of fury the next time around. But I always look back at that fight with Pedro, and that fight basically took me to the next level in terms of getting on that Olympic team.
Yeah, you don't mess around with New York guys. Bob's from the Bronx. I keep my distance. Believe that.
Hey, Jamel, from a learning experience here. So Walker has obviously felt Contreras' power, and he's not worried about it because he's fighting Contreras' fight, right? But, you know, all it takes is one. I mean, is he getting a little too comfortable in a spot that he shouldn't be living in?
No, I think he's comfortable in there, and you know he's bringing his hands back up to his guard after he finished throwing his shot. So he's not being complacent. He's not being lackadaisical in there. Right now, you know, he's playing it smart. He's walking in there with his jab, measuring up, and then he's ripping to the body and coming up to the head. So, and then he's right there. When Contreras comes back, he has his hands up and he counters off what Contreras is throwing at him, just like that.
Better round this one for Contreras, who has landed some clean power shots, but it hasn't deterred Walker. It hasn't forced him to take a step back. So you've got to believe that Jalen Walker has tasted that power. He knows his own limitations. Hasn't been enough to stop him.
Exactly. And here he comes. Here he comes. Good body shot from Contreras, though. Jalen Walker brings him right back. I like what I'm seeing from this kid. Like I said, this kid he has a bright future ahead of him, and he's only gonna get better. He's only gonna get better.
Good round.
So that's the end of round number 3. Of course, we're joined by Jamel Herring, the WBO super featherweight champion. And why don't you take us through a little of the highlights from a couple of weeks ago?
Semper Fi!
But, you know, that left hand came from after I had got cut in the fight, as you guys already know, and I knew he was going to come on strong because I felt that Frampton's only shot at beating me was to, make it rough and an ugly fight on the inside. If people seen my previous fight with the Okendo fight, they thought I had issues with fighting, the smaller guys on the inside. So I knew, that Frampton's only real chance of getting me was on the inside. But, we worked towards that. I brought in Terrence Crawford for that reason, because Terrence can make it rough and ugly in there when you're sparring with him. So thank you, Terrence, for that. But, I just felt great going into it, and I had a sense of who I really was at the end of the day.
Well, let me bring you your flowers here. You didn't just beat Carl Frampton and defend your title. He's an all-time great, and you retired him. That had to put a little cherry on the Sunday for you.
Oh, it definitely did. But, as a fan as well, I love Carl Frampton. He's a good individual, and I always been a fan of him. So it kind of was like sad to see him go out like that. But I understand, it's a business, and in boxing, it's like it goes down either you or him. It's either me or you. So,
indeed,
I had to take care of business, but I wish Carl nothing but the best of success and luck, whatever he chooses to do in his career, in his future.
Let's go! Let's go!
Let's find out what they're talking about in the corner of Jalen Walker as we check in the car.
Jalen Walker, trained by his father, Norman Walker, but also in the corner is well-known trainer Rudy Hernandez. Both men were giving advice to Jalen between rounds. Their advice, work both hands, more uppercuts. They're okay with this phone booth positioning, but they want Jalen to let his hands go. More combinations when he's in close like this. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Kurt. Is that what you'd like to see Jamel more on?
Oh yeah, of course. But, I like what I'm seeing. I'm like what I'm seeing so far from Walker. He just got hit with a good left hook. But like I said, it's all about learning. It's all about learning as you go along. And for me to be deep in my own career, I learned something with each fight. So as long as you have that mentality that you can pick up something for every fight, you'll be successful. Right now, I just think he needs to keep his right hand up because I sense that Contreras sensed that, he found a home with that left hook. So, and like you guys mentioned earlier, all it takes is one punch. So he has, like I said, there's some things he can work on in the gym, but right now he's in control of this fight.
Well, look, Contreras is not, winning this fight on my scorecard by any means, but he's got to be happy at the very least that Walker's willing to meet him there in the trenches. That's going to give Contreras his best chance to land those shots, and he's taking advantage.
Just like that. He's found a home for the uppercut, as you guys see, and he's going for it. See?
They trade body shots. Walker stays right in the pocket there.
I hope Walker knows the short history of this Ring City series. Underdogs are alive.
Yes, they are. See, what Walker needs to do, him being the southpaw as well, he needs to pivot a little bit more to the right to get away from that right hand that he's getting hit with.
Good body shot by Contreras. Walker responds with his own body shot. Well, one thing Contreras, how this fight turns out, he can't complain about. The other guy was running.
I know. Like Brian said, this series isn't for running.
We've got the cadets here at West Point checking it out. We saw on Twitch earlier the intra-squad scrimmage. Many thanks to these brave men and women who have elected right out of high school to defend the United States.
Love what I'm saying, but you know, that round was I felt like Walker in that round took a little bit of unnecessary punishment, you know. Like he got hit with some really clean shots from Contreras. And credit to Contreras for, you know, for keeping it up. You know, he didn't let off, he didn't get discouraged.
Boxing,
and, you know,
start boxing.
Walker is making the rounds a little bit, I mean, he clearly won, but he made it a little closer than what it needed to be.
All right, so I'll pose this to both of you as we begin round number 5. Walker, you know, if you look at his record, he's 0-5 guys, 2-8 guy. Guy's way below 500 and even bigger numbers. He's proven that he can hang in there and fight this kind of fight. Would you now say to him, all right, let's get a little bit more movement in here and let's do what we do best?
I would. I tell him, let's get a little more distance. Let's compare him to a current featherweight champion in this division, Gary Russell Jr., a southpaw with a similar looking style. What Russell does best is he'll get in, he'll land his shots, but he's out of there before you can counter. I wouldn't like Walker spending too many rounds at this close space.
Absolutely.
All right, let's check in with our Hall of Famer, Steve Smolder.
All right, guys, I've got a 3-1. I gave the last round to Contreras with his effective inside body work, his good left hook. I agree wholeheartedly with Jamal. He took unnecessary punishment. I don't think he fears any power, but a shot like he just took is unnecessary. So at this point, I have it 3-1, guys.
Break, stop.
And again, I feel like you see Contreras now, he's stepping to him. And one thing I've noticed from Walker, he's being backed up now. Here comes Contreras. He has no fear of the kid. He doesn't care about what he's throwing at him. He doesn't care about his pedigree or his background. He's in there to win it.
And Contreras has shots that he lands from all angles and distances, but when he goes tight with those in close, he's much more accurate. Walker's going to have to be careful of that.
And he has a lot more snap on him, as you can see as well, especially with that right uppercut. That's why I feel like right now Walker's going to the wrong direction, because in the beginning of the round, he came straight out and he got hit with a straight right hand off the rip. Nice shot though from Walker. Nice left hand. There you go.
Right hand from Contreras.
Good hook to the body from Walker. Nice combination.
This is definitely a great test. This is a great test and a great experience for both of them.
Right back!
Walker spent so much of this fight going after it, but the rare times he takes a step back, lets Contreras get off first. That sets up such incredible countering opportunities because of that speed difference.
Exactly. As you can see, Contreras is trying to finish just as strong with Walker right now. He's not intimidated.
Time.
End of round number 5.
Let your hands go, okay? Need to double that jab. So last round? Hey, pull that motherfucker.
Is this the 5th round? Rick, what round is this? 5th round. 5th coming? 6th coming up.
You gotta go balls out, Jay.
You gotta take this down.
See, that straight right hand I was talking about. Good left hand from Walker. Goes back to paw on the jab. Good body shot.
Final round underway in this scheduled 6-round featherweight bout. Jalen Walker has controlled the action, but Angel Contreras has certainly had his moments in this fight.
Is it safe to say that it could be a 3-2, and this round could be a deciding factor from a draw or Walker pulling it out?
I don't think that's out of the question.
But Contreras is in it. As you can see, he's in it. And like I said, he found a home for that left hook.
And here lands a right hand as well.
Well, I found it interesting that between rounds, Walker's team, it sounded like they were going to tell him to relax. When they found out there was 1 round left, they said, you got to go after it now. Interestingly enough, Bob, my Spanish isn't great, but cachorro translates to puppy or cub. This guy's got a little bit of bite, okay?
Nice. A little dog in him?
Oh, he's definitely got some dog in him. He's definitely got some dog in him. I like how Walker's getting back to the jab. Get back to the center. And there, you see, I seen the clash of heads, and I'm happy with that. All the dogs down there stances.
Oh, right hand. Walker went straight back and got tagged. And he gets hit again with the right hand.
Here comes Contreras. Here he comes.
This is what he's falling apart. He's not bringing his hands back to his guard. And he's getting hit with the same again.
And he goes straight back.
Like I mentioned, this fight can be a lot tighter than what some may see it. Oh, good right hand from Contreras.
Walker doesn't used to learn to use his jab effectively as a weapon. Opponents are going to be able to walk right onto the porch like that.
I mean, we kind of all thought that Walker won the first 3 rounds. But let's just say in round 3 or round 2, you had it tilted the other way. I mean, it could be intriguing.
And it all depends on what the judges are looking for at the end of the day. You never know. You know, some judges love aggression. And I can honestly say that Contreras has had effective aggression going into this fight.
It's a subjective job. There's different strike zones. I say it all the time. To your point, some people just favor the guy coming ahead forward the whole time, making the fight. And while Walker has done that himself for a lot of this fight, he's paying the price at times.
And you see what Contreras did right there for that brief moment? He switched southpaw.
And it seems like Contreras, he looks like the more comfortable fighter going down the stretch. If you look at closely at it.
Yeah, you almost feel like if this thing was scheduled for 8, we might have a different decision than we're going to get after 6.
Great fight, though. Great fight.
Tremendous.
And Contreras looks confident.
Well, Contreras was aggressive in this round, and every time Walker went straight back, Mel, as you mentioned, with his hands down, boom.
Boom. Couldn't miss it. He couldn't miss it.
Again, took one right on the chin. And as he steps up in class, right, people are going to school on him. Steve Smoger, how did you see this?
I agree with you guys. I gave him the first 3, and I think he eked out the 5th, but Contreras really came on in the last round. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was closer. I had it a 2-point fight, guys.
So you had it 4 rounds to 2 for Walker.
Correct.
But I don't think any of us would be surprised if it was 3-3 and this is a draw.
Absolutely agree. Agree.
I mean, I agree with you both. Like I said, the last half of the fight was really, really close, and it looked like it favored Contreras' fight a lot more than it did Walker's.
Just don't give us a 5-1.
Yeah.
Please. Just please.
Please do not make Mr. Smoger angry tonight, please.
Yeah. Please do not make it 59-51. So is Jalen Walker remaining in the unbeaten ranks? Or did Angel Contreras pull off a little upset against the undefeated 19-year-old? By the way, Walker turned 19 in January, so he's early in his 19s. All right, Lupe's got the cards. What do the judges say, Lupe?
After going to distance here at the United States Military Academy at West Point, we go to the scorecards to determine a winner. Judge Weisfeld scores the bout 58-56 in favor of Walker. Judge Consentino 58-56 in favor of Contreras. And Judge Alan Ney scores the bout 57-57. This bout is declared a split draw.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
You know what? That's fair judging.
Yeah,
that is
very
fair. You know what? I could see how one judge, from a stylistic standpoint, could think that Contreras had the edge. I could see how a judge could see how Walker had the edge, and one judge had it down the middle. That was good judging.
Look, these fights are designed for a young prospect like Jalen Walker to need to learn things about himself in this. I guess you can say maybe he's lucky he didn't have to learn that with a defeat. He'll get a draw on the record, but certainly a lot to grow from this experience.
Steve Smoger, your thoughts on the way this fight was judged?
Absolutely right. It was a learning experience. I would have to say it was the toughest opponent for Mr. Walker. They're bringing him along, but Contreras fought beautifully. My card echoed Stevie Weisfeld's card, 58-56, but I have absolutely no problem with the other scoring.
Well, Walker doesn't get his first loss, but he gets his first draw. He's with Curran.
Jalen, your record now 8-0-1. That fight, of course, ruled a draw. What did you think of your performance in there?
We got things to work on. I believe I want the fight. We just got things to work on, and I'll be back better.
What do you think that you had to work on in there? Early on, it seemed like a phone booth fight. As the fight progressed, you used distance a little more. What do you have to work on?
I think I just need to work on my distance more. There's a lot of things in there that I see I can work on. I just need to work on my distance and just landing better shots. Just need to get back to training camp. I'm young. I'm 19 years old. I just need to keep going.
And we're actually going to look at your fight, watch some highlights. Take us through what you see here and tell me what you see here. This is early in the fight. What do you see? Talk me through it.
I see me touching him. I believe I want the fight off of a close decision. But this guy was tough. It was tough. I can't take no credit from him. It was a good fight.
Did he bring anything different tonight than what you had planned for and what you were expecting?
He brought a pace. He brought, just being older. Just being an older, more experienced fighter.
Do you feel like this fight was a step up in competition for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a step up, but I'm going to be back, and I'll be back better and stronger. Canelo had draws before, too, so it doesn't faze me.
In your corner, your trainer, Norman Walker, and Rudy Hernandez, they kept saying, let your hands go. Now, it's one thing to say it, another thing to do it. Were you hearing those instructions, and was it hard to let your hands go?
Yeah, a little bit. It was just things we got to work on. Yeah.
In the final round, you definitely ate some punishment. You took very hard right hands. You decided to come back and fight.
Yeah.
Are you going to take a more defensive approach in the future?
Yeah, I'll take a defensive approach, but I'm a fighter. This doesn't put me down. I'm going to be back, and I'm going to be on top.
And finally, you just turned 19 years old, so what's next for you?
Man, I'm going to fight again real soon. Real soon.
Jalen Walker, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Back to you, Bob.
Well, I appreciate Jalen Walker. And Jamel, I just want to ask you quickly in finishing up on this. He fought a lot of inferior record guys. He might have learned more, do you think, in this draw against this guy than those knockout wins that he was beating guys, 0-6 guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. These type of fights are what you learn from and grow from. And I just love and admire how humble he was in that whole process with the experience. He understood that he made some mistakes, and he clearly stated that there's some things he needs to work on, and that's all you can ask for from a young prospect.
When you think of college football, right? I mean, the school that jumps to the top of your list is the University of Alabama. But you see those men and women there with the West Point boxing shirts on? When it comes to college boxing, West Point sets the standard.
First, tell me, how did you join the boxing team here?
I remember that when I showed up for Beast, everyone would go around and ask, what sports team are you going to try out for? And everyone would be like, lacrosse, basketball, and then I'd say boxing, and the room would go quiet. They'd be like, you're trying out for the boxing team? Like, do you know how hard that is? And I remember each time we came back for tryouts, there were less and less people. People just quit, but the ones who stayed, they're champions now.
Prior to COVID, we were going on our 11th national championship in a row. We've had plenty more prior to that. We had history winning. We're here to win, and that's what we do.
This boxing program has had a lot of success. Was that intimidating for you?
Of course. And the captains here, the older cadets, as you're coming in, are sure to show you, like, this is a tradition that we look to upkeep. And it's one of the hardest teams to make here at West Point for that same reason.
You can see the growth in them from freshman year boxer to senior boxer, how they've grown. And you know, the key to winning is that you've got to be physically tough, but you got to win here. And our boxers, they don't believe they can lose.
What do you think it is about boxing that you've learned that will benefit you in the future?
It teaches you your natural capabilities to adjust, your natural capabilities to try something different if what you're doing at first is not working. Our jobs here is to protect the United States of America. That's our passion. So in that sense, boxing is helping us formulate those skills that we need to use in that instance.
Such an incredible tradition, founded in 1802, the oldest continuously occupied military post in the United States. President Theodore Roosevelt suggested boxing as a required course starting in 1905. Total collegiate national championships, 10 for the men, 2 for the women. It's been 4 years now since the Corps of Cadets, freshmen, or plebe as they're called, women are required to take boxing as well as part of their curriculum. There's a look at some of the hardware here in the Hale Gymnasium and on the campus of West Point, which is just steeped in incredible traditions. Take a look at the 2007 National Championship team. And it is about team. That is always the overriding factor when it comes to college sports, and in particular, West Point and West Point boxing.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Let's go zoo. Matthew Beacon. Recognize, yes, sir. We out here. From Chicago, South Side. I love you, Mom.
First time ever, professional boxing coming to you live from West Point. Final bout on Twitch, getting ready to go. Let's send it up to Lupe Contreras.
Making his way to the ring, Jesus Antonio Gutierrez.
And here comes 26-year-old Jesus Antonio Gutierrez, native of Tijuana, Mexico. We know that boxing tradition very well. Good record, 27-4 with 2 draws, 14 knockouts for the 26-year-old. Reaction from the West Point faithful here, making Hayes Gymnasium feel like a much bigger venue.
His opposition, Christian Mbili.
Goes by the nickname Le Solide, and the 25-year-old Christian Mbili, a native of France, 17-0 with 16 knockouts. Our Twitch main event, 8 rounds for these super middleweights. Mbili, some well-known names in his corner training him. Samuel Descaries, Mark Ramsey, known in that Montreal boxing circuit.
It's a pretty good amateur record as well. 72 wins, only 13 defeats.
Started his pro career with 13 consecutive knockouts. Tonight will be fight number 18. Let's look at the tail of the tape for your Twitch main event here. 8-round super middleweights. Mbili, 25 years old, weighing 167.4 pounds. Rehydrated up to 182.3 for tonight. Jamel, the key for Gutierrez here in this one.
He needs to use that height advantage. And you know I know a lot about having a height advantage. And he has a slight reach advantage as well. So he definitely has to use his physical aspects if he really wants to be successful in this fight.
2 inches in reach, nearly 3 inches in height. Let's go to our ring announcer, Lupe Contreras, to set the stage for our Twitch main event.
From inside Hayes Gymnasium at the United States Military Academy at West Point, this is the Twitch featured bout of the evening. Ring City, USA, anyone, anytime, anywhere. Presented in association with Bash Boxing. This bout, 8 rounds in the super middleweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Ken Ezzo, Eric Marlinsky, and James Pierce. Our third man in the ring, referee Jamil Antoine. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the blue corner, representing Knucklehead Boxing and wearing white with silver trim, his official weight, 167 pounds. With an extensive professional record consisting of 33 bouts, with 27 victories against 4 losses, 2 draws, 14 of those victories coming by way of KO. Puro Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, Jesus Antonio La Joya Gutierrez. His opposition across the ring in the red corner, wearing black with red and gold trim. He weighed in at a chiseled 167.5 pounds. Tonight, in his 18th professional bout, with a stellar undefeated record of 17 victories, 16 of those victories coming by way of KO. Representing Eye of the Tiger Management and fighting out of Quebec City, Quebec, Canada, Christian Lesoli Mbili.
Gentlemen, we've been over the rules in the dressing room. I want a good, clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Let's touch them up.
Expect a good one here between these two super middleweights, the unbeaten Mbili and the battle-tested Gutierrez of Tijuana, Mexico. I believe we saw a fella from Tijuana, Mexico, Angel Fierro on Ring City, USA in Puerto Rico just a month back. A little bit of an upset knockout of Alberto Machado. See how that carries.
And speaking of battle tested, it seemed like when he was coming into the ring, he had a lot of love and support from the cadets here on the battlegrounds in here. So definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do.
See how that helps him here. Gutierrez in the white trunks, pushing the pace early to get stuck with that short right uppercut from Mbili.
And from the jump, he's not exactly doing what I hope he would do, which is use that height and that slight reach advantage. But he's getting right in the trenches, down and dirty with him.
Well, Gutierrez, a stablemate of former 154-pound champion Jaime Munguia, who we know fights on the inside and walks you down and comes forward. We're seeing that phone booth history put to the test here as Mbili is willing to stand and trade with him, Jamel.
Yeah, he's giving it as well as he's taking it too. Can't complain with the action. Definitely can't complain with what I'm seeing.
Well, we already have a ring that seems to have a little bit of magic in it. We said we tend to get better fights than not in the anyone, anytime, anywhere sphere in front of us, but these two didn't even need that much space.
The way it's looking right now, I don't see it going to the distance. He just got hit with a good, clean uppercut.
Mbili is letting his hands go here.
Mbili has bad intention on everything he's throwing.
Big body shots from Mbili. Gutierrez doesn't get off those ropes, Jamel. This could be trouble.
Oh yeah, it could be early night. Oh! Good overhand right and left that left hook and right back to the body.
Mbili 16 knockouts throughout his 17-fight pro run. The native of France, he's coming after it early. Gutierrez, though, countering there nicely to the body.
Gutierrez has to give those rope throws. It's not a safe zone for him, as you can see right there. I mean, he's trying to fight back off the ropes, but in the end, it's not doing him any justice of having his back against the ropes, especially when he can't really sit on his punches because he's too squared up.
I mean, Gutierrez is showing a responsible guard, Jamel, but when you're there with a puncher at short range, how much is your guard really even going to help you? You're still feeling those shots.
Oh, yeah. And you can see there, I believe he's getting that right hand behind the guard, and it's hitting Gutierrez right there again on top of the temple. He's going right back to it.
Great pace early on between these two. Bad intentions with seemingly every shot, particularly from Mbili.
I think Gutierrez is slowing down already just quite a bit. And it's only the first round, and there's a long way to go.
I'm less worried about the pace they're putting on than the damage.
I would be really impressed if they can keep this pace up. And the overhand right just can't miss with it.
Good action to close out round one inside Hayes Gymnasium.
Encore. Christian, tu boxes très bien. Okay.
Jamel, let's take a look at what we saw in that very fun round one. It was fisticuffs early.
real early.
Ce gars-là est habitué.
A lot of toe-to-toe, squared up, heads touching. So like you mentioned earlier, it's a phone booth fight. But Mbili was the more active, successful fighter in there. He's not only going for the head, but he's getting under those elbows with the body shot that you can see right there. So Gutierrez, he's hanging tough, but I just think he's taking a lot of unnecessary punishment. Just looking from the replay right there, the uppercut also has found the right uppercut has found a good home into Gutierrez's chin. And there it is, overhand, uppercut, overhand right, uppercut, overhand right.
Gutierrez's corner there, looking to get him maybe a new strategy for round two. Gutierrez trained by Fernando Fernandez, who was in the corner there of Angel Fierro of his Ring City upset last month. And they fight out of the Zona Norte Boxing Club. Hall of Famer Eric Morales, a regular in those parts. Let's bring in Steve Smoger to get his take on round one.
10-9, Mbili, very sharp punching. As you said, guys, very bad intentions in every shot. Every shot, look.
A little bit of Jermaine Taylor in there.
Yes, sir.
Former middleweight champion. That war with Kelly Pavlik. Steve Smoger, the referee for that one, Jamel, at the first meeting. He gave us that greatness there, a fighter's ref, but we don't even need a referee for this one. These two letting the hands go.
Might not even see the score this one either.
Mbili's crowding Gutierrez. Talked about the bad intentions. I know you said Gutierrez needs to stay off the ropes, Jamel. Would you like a jab? Would you like something to try to create space?
Definitely. He should go back to using, well, I can't even say he even use the jab. They really need to start using that jab right about now. And you also see that he's squaring up. That's why he's getting hit cleanly with that right uppercut. His feet are just squared up right now. He's not showing any lateral movement, and there's no angle. And right now, I think, Mbili is taking a lot of steam off his punches as well, because he doesn't have those same intentions he did when he first came out in the first round.
Well, at the very least, Gutierrez is showing a great chin because he's getting hit with those big right uppercuts. You have to wonder whether he believes he can outlast Mbili, whether he questions if Mbili can keep up this pace with this type of intention.
Maybe that's what they're looking for as well. They could be thinking that Mbili's going to slow down, but so far, he's been in the same pace as the opening round.
Gutierrez shaking his head there after Mbili landed a big right hand.
And that means you got hit with something big. Again.
Heavy lumber.
Great action, though. Great action.
Defense there from Mbili to block the body shots coming in. His best defense so far, though, has been his offense, as you see with that right hand.
If you notice, he's catching and shooting. And what I mean by that is, every time Gutierrez goes down to maybe his body, he comes back up with a counter shot himself.
No, we mentioned it earlier, but even when Gutierrez is getting his guard up, you can see he's still feeling the thunder from those shots.
He's definitely gonna feel that thunder. He's gonna feel it from tonight's until the rest of the week if it keeps going at this rate.
I'll take this pace all night. 2 rounds in the books between super middleweights. For more, let's go to ringside to Kern Bhatia.
Sitting behind me is Christian Mbili. We're here at West Point, and Christian actually was a member of the French Army, and we're seeing his power in there fighting a phone booth fight. He actually says he has dreams of one day meeting Mike Tyson, but he's got his hands full today, because in the blue corner is Jesus Antonio Gutierrez, who's actually trained by the same trainer who trained Angel Fierro, who got the shocking upset win with Alberto Machado. I spoke to Gutierrez this week. He said, I'm looking at what Fierro did as motivation. I spoke to him. I'm going to try to channel that in this fight tonight. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Curran.
And he just mentioned that Mbili wants to meet Mike Tyson, but he's showing some Tyson in there because I'm loving that right hook to the body and following with an uppercut. And that was, you know, Tyson loved that signature move. You know, the body shot, following with a hook.
Mbili throwing Tyson like uppercuts in close. We'll see if he can keep up the stamina. Our Twitch users filling up the comments board with their own take. Luku says, I wonder if Mbili will gas out if he can't get Gutierrez out of there. So that's something we're certainly going to take a closer look at.
We're definitely going to find that out. Because like I said, Gutierrez, he definitely has a great chin right now. And I think, you know, if we really want to make this a short fight, just continue going down to the body. Because, you know, you're pretty much guys who can take anything you throw at them in terms of their head. But if you can just end the fight a lot easier and make it a lot easier on yourself by taking a lot of steam out of the punches and out of your opponent with just a good body, which is a good, efficient body attack.
Steve Smoker giving round 2 there to Christian Mbili for an official Hall of Fame score.
Gutierrez is still in there. He's fighting, like you said, he could sense that Mbili is slowing down.
Gutierrez, you can see here, has no problem playing the spoiler. He dropped former title challenger Gabriel Rosado in their 2016 fight and looked to have a chance on the scorecards before losing a very tight one. Been in there with good competition, has a very good record, and it's seeming like he's looking to rely on his chin and his gas tank, but Mbili will not stop loading up. Good combination in close.
Stepped it up. Looked like he took the first minute off of it. But here comes Mbili with bad intentions once again. Set things up with a jab. When he has that little bit of space, he's setting it up with the jab, and he's coming ready. He's going after the body and comes back up to the head.
Yeah, how can you put it into words, Jamel? You've always been a fighter who's, you know, been known. If anything, your consistency, the shape you get in, you can go long rounds. When you're loading up with the kind of shots Mbili is landing, how much does that take out of you?
It takes a lot out of you, especially if you haven't trained properly in camp. You know, that can do more harm than good. Even though he's landing a lot of punches, as we see flush, if he can't keep that rhythm and pace up, it can hurt him in the long run. But so far, he's doing a great job at it.
Mbili, just 25 years old, the native of France. First to fight on the inside, as you can see. Maybe after a slow start for this round, he's pushing the fight, taking it to Gutierrez. Good right hand again.
Left hook. But when he gets hit something big, comes right back. So he's still in it. Kevin's still in it.
You know, Mbili is allowing, at the very least, Gutierrez to lean on him. Could that be something that could favor him later?
Gutierrez is really the bigger man in there, and you have somebody leaning on you with all that body weight. That kind of takes a lot out of your legs as well. But they're not using their legs a lot anyway, so you just never know.
Good action to close round 3 once again.
Mira profundo, mijo. Sus golpes, güey, no sé si tú lo sientas. Desde abajo yo lo estoy viendo que está metiendo un poquito más de velocidad, pero ya menos fuerza.
He looks like he's got speed, but a little less power behind him.
Lo estás haciendo para atrás y lo estás sacando de su zona de confort, güey. Pero necesito que sigas hacia enfrente, moviendo la cabeza.
Move your head, push him
moviendo
forward.
la cabeza y siguiendo golpeando abajo. Hay que buscar 3 golpes fundamentales. Afuera, adentro y gancho al hígado.
Right hand, shot to the body.
Okay?
They speak French in the corner of Mbili. Jamel, can you translate for us?
Oh, no, not even trying. But whatever they're saying right now, they're probably telling me to continue doing what you've been doing for the last couple of rounds.
let's go.
What were you guys complaining about?
The low blow.
See if Mbili can keep up this hellacious pace as we enter round 4.
You're right back into the phone booth.
Well, you can certainly see the Mike Tyson similarities at the very least due to the intention and the distance that Mbili fights at. And he got into boxing as a teenager, of course, after watching tape of Tyson, somebody he still dreams about getting a chance to meet today. I think Mike would like his style.
I think Mike would appreciate what he's seeing right now. He might not have that one-punch knockout power as Mike, but he definitely has some power, and he's showing it.
Well, we heard the translation from Contreras in the corner of Jesus Antonio Gutierrez, and they didn't seem like they had much fear for Mbili's power up to this point. They told him, you know, he's not hurting you. It seems like they believe he can walk through it.
He may not think he's hurt, or he may not be feeling it at all, but he's definitely using his arms big. So if anything, you can expect him to, you know, make some proper adjustments instead of just, you know, trying to go to the macho route. That isn't winning him any wrestling. That was a good body shot for sure.
Let's find out more with ringside with Curran Batier.
In the red corner here with Samuel Descaries. Samuel, you were complaining last round. What were you complaining about to the ref?
Well, the opponent threw about 7 low blow, and I was telling the ref during the round, but he didn't say anything or didn't see anything. So I asked him to watch for the low blow because it's no red catch, but we don't want our fighter to be hit with low blows.
This is certainly a phone booth fight. Is this where you want the fight to be?
Well, we knew it was about to be that type of fight. Gutierrez is a pressure fighter, and Mbili is a machine. He's going to destroy him round by round.
It seems like Mbili's loading up on the shots. Is that how you want him to deliver his punches?
Well, he hurt him there, so now he's trying to do something good and try to finish him. But we asked him to mix a bit of speed and power.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Merci beaucoup out to the trainer. Of course, Mbili grew up in France. He was a member of the French army, but is of Cameroonian descent in Africa, which has produced world champions. Remember Saki Obika, Hassan Endam. See if Mbili can keep his unbeaten ways going. You a fan so far of these short clubbing right hands that Mbili's landing coming out of the clinch, Jamal?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because Gutierrez is coming straight out, like I mentioned earlier. He's squaring up. But a moment ago, I kind of seen that Mbili took a little bit of a break, and I was kind of starting to think maybe he's starting to slow down, maybe he's starting to wither. But you know, he's picking it up. So it's like he finds his spot, and he's taking a different approach. He's playing a little bit smarter, in my opinion. But that overhand right, it just can't miss.
Time. Right uppercut. At the bell for Mbili, halfway through super middleweights. Coming up at 9 Eastern on NBC Sports Network, our main card, and in the main event, Jelena Mrdjenovic will defend her WBA featherweight championship for the 6th time. Jamel, you've seen Jelena fight. She's been a champion since 2006, a true veteran. What do you like about her game?
You know, I like the fact that, for starters, she's a true champion. And what I mean by that is, they always say you're not a real champion until you defend your title. And she's had 5 successful title defenses. And, you know, she's been in the game for a while. She's a veteran in the game, but she's still going strong. So I definitely, you know, have a lot of respect for what she's done in her career. And more importantly, she can box. She can definitely box.
5 title defenses in her current reign. She has won titles in 3 different weight classes.
Christian.
Referee Jamil Antoine calling for time here early in round 5.
¿Cómo te sientes?
Bien.
¿Quieres seguir con
Claro, a huevo.
seguro?
Sí.
Ringside doctor
Time
giving
in.
Gutierrez a look.
Box.
He liked what he saw. We're going to continue with the action. Let's bring in Steve Smoger again, Hall of Famer. Steve, you like the commission taking that break, which we see often in the state of New York, and what we saw right there to check out Gutierrez.
Yes, I agree. Gutierrez is taking a lot of punishment. It's amazing. His corner said these shots are not hurting him. Well, the corner's very brave. these shots are definitely hurting Gutierrez. And I don't know how long it's going to last. He's taken a real pounding, and Billy has dominated every round. But, you know, Gutierrez is trying his hardest.
It's kind of funny. Just a round ago, the corner was saying that Gutierrez wasn't throwing the punches, but the commission thought otherwise. Here comes Embiid, and again, he's in a danger zone. He has his back against the ropes. He's in a danger zone.
This can't be where Gutierrez wants to be against the ropes as Billy continues to load up.
Now, if he's going this way, the state of California, the commission is going out.
Down goes Gutierrez.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. ¿Está bien?
Looks like he's going to beat the
count. ¿Está bien?
It's over. It's over.
It felt like it was only a matter of time before the power went out, but Gutierrez beats the count. Back comes Mbili with more shots. Jamel Reeves, there he goes down again.
That's it, that's it.
Referee Jamil Antoine jumps in. We've seen enough. A brutal war of attrition, and one that was won by Christian Mbili, 18-0 with 17 knockouts.
The power's real. The power is definitely real.
The shots are short. He crowds you. He loads up.
And the work rate is just phenomenal. That work rate is just crazy. He kept it up from start to finish.
Tell you what, it's entertaining. I mean, sometimes we use the term TV fighter maybe for a guy whose record isn't the best, but he makes fun fights. This guy's unbeaten, and he's a TV fighter.
A TV fighter with a winning record, yes.
Gutierrez took all he could in the pocket. Maybe spent a little bit too much time on the ropes, as we mentioned, but Mbili, just 25 years old, the super middleweight, taking another step forward in his march up to this point. Let's take a closer look at that first knockdown in round 5, Jamel.
That beautiful left hook to the body, followed with, 2 uppercuts, yeah.
And that right uppercut seemed like it had been there all fight.
And it had some heat on it. 1, 2, up.
You know, nothing feels good, right? But when it's coming from the bottom up on your chin, that's got to be devastating.
Here we go with the second knockdown. Those ones can just knock your whole equilibrium off right there. And you know, he took a lot of punishment as it is from the opening bell. So you know, I give Gutierrez credit for for hanging as long as he did, but you know, Mbili was just the dominant fighter, and there's nothing more you can ask from him on that.
Gutierrez was game. He brought it from a gym that's known for toughness, but this seemed like a different kind of animal, a different kind of offense coming his way.
Yeah, different kind of caliber.
Seemed like that second knockdown was more just the overall accrue of the damage that was afflicted. Referee Jamil Antoine, a merciful stoppage. Jamel did not need to count that second time around.
And I see it coming. Like I said, instead of New York, the commission can stop a fight if they feel that a fighter is taking unnecessary punishment. And I knew the end was coming as soon as he was looked at the beginning of the round.
Lupe Contreras is inside the ring. He's ready with the official time of the stoppage.
An accumulation of punches obligates referee Jamil Antoine to call a halt to this contest with an official time of 1 minute 53 seconds of round number 5, declaring the winner by way of technical knockout, still undefeated, Le Solide, Christian Mbili.
Maybe from France of Cameroonian descent, but they love Christian Mbili here at West Point.
These soldiers love a good fight. he put on a good fight.
As we mentioned, he was a soldier himself, a member of the French army. And how could you not love that fighting style that we talked about? as Mbili heads through the ropes to the interview position. Don't forget, after the conclusion of the main card tonight, starts at 9 p.m. Eastern on NBC Sports, it's Inside the Ropes, back on Twitch, where Sean Porter, Jamel Herring, Bob Papa, Curran Bhatia, and myself, BC, will take your comments. We'll break down what we saw inside the Hayes Gymnasium tonight. Do not miss that. Immediately after we go off the air on NBC Sports, come back to twitch.tv/Ring City USA to get the post-game report on all things inside the ring. And now for the post-fight interview and a victorious Christian Mbili, it's Curran Bhatia.
Christian, that was a tough phone booth fight, but you got the knockout in the 5th round. What do you make of your performance?
You know, for me, this fight was a message. Now I'm very happy to fight in United States. This fight was a message for all the middleweight division. I'm ready. I'm ready for all the fighters. I'm ready to take all the belt. And today was a big message for all the super middleweight fighter.
Seemed like early on you were in close. It was a battle of uppercuts. It was a phone booth fight. Was that the game plan that you came in with?
Yes, the game plan was to work inside, body shot, head. The game plan was for destroy him, run by run.
We're gonna take a look at round 5 at the first knockdown. Talk me through what you see here. Round 5. It was the uppercut that landed. Talk me through what you see. What do you see?
Wow. Wow, shit, man. This was solid.
We're going to take one more look at it. What did you find here for the uppercut?
Whew. This was a message. This is a message for all the middleweight fight. This is a message. I'm coming for everyone.
And now we're going to look at the final left hook that ended the fight. Tell me what you see here.
I'm seeing a strong guy. I'm seeing a French boxer. This was very good shot.
I know that you said you sent a message to the division. You actually served in the French army, right? So what does it mean to get this win here at West Point?
This, I think, is good. It's beautiful for me. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to see all the soldiers. This, you know, soldier is like power of country. And for me, the boxer is power of country too.
You said you made a statement in the division.
Yeah.
Who do you want next?
Everyone. I'm ready for everyone. Canelo, Jacob, comment il s'appelle le petit jeune là? Balenga. I'm ready for cadet plan. Balenga. I'm ready for everyone. Now I'm ready. I'm born ready.
Do you feel like you made a statement here tonight?
Yeah, I make a big step today. I hope all the division have seen this fight.
Christian Mbili, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
No disrespect to the great Sean Porter or yourself, Jamel Herring, but can we get Christian Mbili to voice all of our replay highlights here? Solid, it's a message.
It seemed like he was really impressed from what he's seen, and he was the one in there working. He was really enjoying from the highlights of his own work.
Tell you what, through 18 pro fights, 17 knockouts, he said that was a message for the rest of the division. He's using words like Canelo, Berlanga, Caleb Plant, Daniel Jacobs, all of the big players right now at super middleweight. Do you think he showed enough tonight to show you that he's ready for the truly elite?
I think with a few more fights like that, he definitely will be ready for the elites. You know, it takes time, but like I said, each fight is a learning and a step up to the big leagues. But he's not too far from it.